The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show podcast is sponsored by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's savings on a stick season with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning State Fair specials. Savings from $30 on a tune-up all the way up to $950 on a new cooling system. Visit standardheating.com/offers for details on all their State Fair deals.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show. 93.
Now, let us see the first item up for bids on The Price is Right.
You know, Chris, your mother would not be proud of you the way you're behaving. He's being naughty, don't you think?
You watch your mouth, Barker. Let me explain something to you, old man.
Go right ahead.
Nobody calls me Chris.
Don't boo. I think it encourages it.
You like that, old man? You want a piece of me?
I don't want a piece of you. I want the whole thing.
The price is wrong, bitch.
I think you've had enough. No? Now you've had enough, bitch.
Hey guys, it's showtime.
Well, she's bright and early. Good morning, folks, and welcome to the 93X Half-Ass Morning Show. F your weekend. F all weekends, for that matter. All the free time and the fun. The work week is where it's at, right, Cubby?
Time to grow up. You guys got to be adults again, especially you in that room over there.
I wait all weekend for this right here. The average work day.
I get excited on Fridays because we're that much closer to Monday.
Absolutely. I can't get enough. I can't get enough of this feeling right now. Well, I mean, look at it this way. Hell, this past weekend, effing Bob Barker died. That shows you right there the real truth about weekends.
Yeah, it's too bad. He was a big part of my summer. We would watch, pretty much the whole family would watch The Price is Right every single weekday.
Yeah.
Sit there with my grandma and my siblings and cousin, aunt, the whole crew, and we'd watch Bob Barker. And then, by proxy, The Young and the Restless. I could have got up. I could have went outside and played. But there's too much drama. I didn't know what was going on.
Josh is an indoorsman.
I am an indoorsman. But, as a kid,
even when he was a young child. You would really just say, F it, I might as well stay put and see what's going on The Young and the Restless?
Well, at first, my grandma would kind of make us, right? No, you sit down. We're all going to watch this.
Well, so she could keep an eye on you?
I don't know. She just wanted somebody to watch it with. And so we're miserable at first, but after a while, we're like, shh, be quiet. Well, this lady, she's been cheating on her husband. He died 3 years ago,
right.
But he's back. It's all this crazy soap opera stuff.
A lot of people came back from the dead.
They did.
On soap operas, that much I can tell you. I never got terribly dialed into soap operas or The Price is Right, really.
Really?
But my sister was very into the mid to late 80s soap operas, so I'd get a little piece of it now and again. No, I never really got Bob Barker. What a wonderful guy. They don't make him like Bob Barker anymore.
Awesome game show host.
I mean, just
one of the best.
He comes off like such a wonderful guy. He always did.
And that scene in Happy Gilmore we played the clip of, so it's good. Best. Yeah, Bob Barker said, "Bitch."
Yeah. I mean, had it been someone other than Adam Sandler, it would have been that much better. But sure, it was a great movie scene. It's really. He had such a great run, and like I think I already said, they just don't make him like Bob Barker anymore. But no, I never really got wildly into his program.
Josh, you were right when you said that, he reminds you of summer because, you got days off, you're watching Price is Right. But for people who are a little bit more nefarious than you, who would sometimes fake sick, he was also the soundtrack to faking sick and staying home from school. But yep. Mr. Josh, who never missed a day of school in his life, never got to experience that.
So you would fake sick? And then you'd still watch that?
Yeah.
I think you'd be watching like pornography and whatever else you young people
you couldn't really find that in 1995.
Porn?
Jesus Christ, you should have stopped by me and my brother's place.
I was going to say, wait a minute.
Well, when
Nick had to throw a computer away in 1995.
Yeah.
When you're a third grader living in Eagan, it's kind of tough to come by pornography at that age.
Oh, I sell it to third graders all the time, so I have no idea what you're talking about. I live in Eagan. Ask me about CrossFit Jesus on the subject of The Young and the Restless said, yup, still watch YNR to this day. Yeah, we cool people call it YNR. That's insane that it's still on. I mean, I think when I watched it as a kid, it was probably already on 10 years or more.
Honest to God, during the day, there are still soap operas on the local television programs.
Oh, yeah,
the
my parents
local
watch 'em.
television channels is how I should have said that. Your parents watch them?
Yep.
What about, let me try some of these out. So The Young and the Restless is still going.
Days of Our Lives, that was a big one.
Do you mean Duel?
Days?
What's that?
DOOL, Days of Our Lives?
Oh, I've never heard
I dated a girl one summer who got me really into it. We'd wake up hungover and watch Duel every day of the week.
Here's what I can remember. Here's what I can tell you about soap operas. Not much. I guess it's more of a question. Which of the soap operas in the 80s did Rick Springfield come from?
Oh, yeah, he was on one.
That's my biggest memory of soap operas in the 80s, is that my sister and her girlfriends would come uncorked.
General Hospital?
Okay, there you go. Yes, to see Rick Springfield on General Hospital, and then boom, he's doing music videos. He's got the Jesse's Girl, and he's got his own movie. Okay, that was as far as I can take you if we're going for a ride on soap operas.
He played a character named Noah Drake, MD.
Yes. So how many of those old school ones are still going? Young and the Restless, Days of Our Lives, you say?
I think Days of Our Lives.
I don't know if that one's still on.
okay.
I'm just saying those were big. My grandma watched. We were after Young and the Restless. The kids took off. My grandma used to watch those all day.
You and a girlfriend watched Days of Our Lives, Dana?
Yeah, one summer in college when I was like 21 or 22.
I hear you. Yeah, you couldn't get your hands on any porno. That's something. That's great for them that they're still hanging on to.
If you wanted to get caught up on Days of Our Lives, which have been renewed through 2025, you only got 14,000 episodes to pile through. So
my gosh, that's insane.
So it looks like what's left is The Bold and the Beautiful, Days of Our Lives, General Hospital, and The Young and the Restless.
Unbelievable. Talk about staying power. Good for them.
General Hospital started in 1963.
Jeez.
Still going. Whoa.
I just realized, so I give my stepdaughter crap because she watches just, in my opinion, garbage television. Like a lot of those dramatic reality shows,
Absolutely.
like Kardashians and stuff like that, filled with vapid people. And I realized I watched the balls off of The Young and the Restless. I mean, to me, that's better because it was scripted, but really it's not that much better.
Oh, I think it's...
But because you can make the same argument about the Kardashians that it's scripted.
And it is. It is. But, I mean, I don't know. I guess I don't watch any of the reality shows. But I'm going to give you a leg up on this one, Josh. There's something that seems more pure and innocent about 1980s soap operas compared to this nonsense now, Housewives of Eden Prairie or whatever's happening, and the Kardashians. That's I don't know how to explain it because I don't have great experience with either types of programming. But
maybe because they are trying to act like it's their real life. This is all these things that happen.
Yeah,
I like watching Ms. and Mrs., the WWE superstars who have their own show.
Are they still going?
Yeah.
Are they still going?
Yeah. Yep.
There's not another season yet, is there?
No. But they just had one.
No, I know that, but are they still having seasons? I sure hope so.
I haven't heard that was stopping.
I absolutely love that show. They're in on the joke, right? The reality TV gimmick, right? And it's supposed to be a reality show, but each one is obviously scripted by, The Miz is always the bumbling dad.
Okay.
And things always come back. He's super arrogant, but things always come back to humble him.
They're embracing the phoniness of it all.
Yeah, it's tongue-in-cheek for sure.
Just like a great television wrestler would.
Right. I know you'd like that show, Nick, if you ever get around to it.
That's amazing
Maybe
to me.
in 15 years, 20 years, you can watch the reruns of it.
You know how I operate. I'm still kind of taken aback in learning that some of these old soap operas are still cooking. I mean, I don't get a chance to watch much daytime television.
People are texting in a good point. WWE is a soap opera in a way for men.
I've heard that, millions and millions of times, and it is true.
There's something to that.
And I mean, okay, for some of you listeners, keep in mind some of the opinions that we are expressing here this morning, we are contractually obligated to say.
That's true. We just got a new memo from corporate this morning.
That's an inside joke. Josh and I were arguing with a listener over text on Friday about something.
That was pretty fun, actually.
Something ridiculous. Just the things that cause people to be mad these days just froze me. I can't believe some of the things that cause people great anger these days. So Friday, Josh and I are texting back and forth with this guy who's got his stick up his ass over the dumbest effing thing that we did on the radio, a conversation we had on the radio. And we were needling him at first, kind of antagonizing him.
Of course.
Then he kind of I don't know what happened, but he kind of calmed down and he said, I understand that some of the things you guys say you're contractually obligated to say. Which is so ridiculous. I'm so friggin' tired of morons saying that. Let me be clear about something. If it's not a friggin' ad, while we're doing this right now, we aren't how do I say it?
Contractually obligated.
To jack squat.
Just look at how often we rip this company and the people we work with.
Well, that's in the script.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Hey, I know some of the things you guys say, you're kind of following the boss's orders. No, you're wrong. You're wrong. Get that out of your stupid head.
Most of it is government-related.
The government is a totally different story.
Mostly federal, but some state government as well.
There are federal and state government bylaws that affect the material on our show. Yes, that's a completely different story. Hey, I know you guys aren't in full control of what you're saying over there. I know. You don't know anything. That's to you, dude, from last Friday. You know nothing.
Yeah, I hope he texts back in, assuming it's a he. That was pretty fun.
Well, God rest the soul of Bob Barker. What a wonderful, wonderful personality he was on television for so many years.
Man, the last 3 work days. We got Terry Funk on Thursday. We talked about his passing. Bray Wyatt on Friday. Now Bob Barker.
This is like my childhood. Just going to right down the toilet.
I know what you mean.
It's terrible. Like, I remember...
Bray Wyatt, much older, I was much older when he became popular, so that's not necessarily my childhood, but I hear what you're saying.
Yeah, and I remember me and my grandma would always play Monopoly and watch Price is Right together.
You and your grandma would play Monopoly and watch The Price is Right together.
Totally.
Sounds like a very long day.
I love that.
She would always babysit us and stuff in preschool, and when we had half days of kindergarten, my grandma would watch us, and that's what we did in the morning.
I love that.
Yeah.
So it's just like a grandma and grandchildren thing, it seems like, at least in my case.
Yeah, totally.
You know what I'm going to do if you and I are ever playing Monopoly and watching The Price is Right together?
Steal money from the bank. Yeah. Just like my sister did.
I'm going to grab a few bucks out of your little bank account there, and you're out Wall Street or whatever. What was the big one you wanted?
Boardwalk.
Broadwalk.
Boardwalk.
And you can have...
Park Place. There we go. Park Place and Boardwalk.
So your sister would steal some money out of there.
Totally. She was the worst at it.
Man.
Now, I'd be drinking a juice box, eating pancakes, and she's stealing my money.
Poor little Wapple. Can't even catch a break in the game of Monopoly.
Yeah, and then 5 years later, she's slamming my head in van doors.
Yeah, she hates your guts, dude.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't understand. You're so lovable.
Now, did you guys know this? We played the great clip of Bob Barker in the Adam Sandler movie where he fights Adam Sandler. Do you know who the first choice was for that role? It wasn't Bob Barker. Originally, it was written for who? Go!
Ed McMahon.
Ed McMahon is correct.
But he passed before they made the movie.
He did. Bob Barker was very interested in that scene and thought it was funny when it was offered to him. He practiced fighting ahead of the filming with his next-door neighbor, a guy by the name of Chuck Norris.
What a cool block that must have been. You got Bob Barker and Chuck Norris as next-door neighbors.
Hell yeah.
That would rule.
Man, and then Sandler moves in and ruins everything. I like that clip you played, Josh, where he made an appearance on Raw, WWE Raw, and he was jaw-jacking back and forth with Chris Jericho.
I like that Chris Jericho got upset that he called him Chris.
Now, I had to look this up because I remember that run for 5-6 months where Raw WWE's Monday night program, where every week they had a different guest host. Now, a lot of them were wrestlers, current or past wrestlers, but they also, got characters like Bob Barker. So I looked up this stretch of shows and some of the guest hosts that they had along with Bob Barker. Let's see if they hit on any of your all-time favorites here. This was back in 2000+9. Well, they had Shaquille O'Neal as a guest host. Billy Gibbons and Dusty Hill from ZZ Top. Seth Green, maybe he was there to promote, maybe one of the, Austin Powers?
Probably.
Maybe that was after, that was after Austin Powers, 2009. Maybe he was promoting one of his other huge hit movies. Where's my sarcasm horn? Maybe he was there to promote Family Guy.
Yeah, Family Guy, or was it Robot Chicken that he does too, Apple?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's his gig, right?
Jeremy Piven, I've heard the name, but I can't picture him.
No
Ari
clue
from
that
Entourage.
Never saw it.
Hug it out, bitch.
Yep.
Oh, all right.
The fast-talking agent.
Yeah.
Give me someone else he's played, because what did you say the show was called?
Entourage.
Never saw it.
He was the dean in Old School.
Oh, he's very funny.
He's in PCU.
Huh?
PCU, a college frat movie.
Never saw it. I don't know that one, but I remember Old School. Freddie Prinze Jr., doesn't he host his own wrestling podcast?
Yeah, he was a writer for WWE for a long stretch of time. Yeah, he was.
I had no idea.
Yeah, for a very long time.
I had forgotten about that, and now he's one of the biggest television wrestling fans you'll ever run into. Floyd Mayweather Jr. was a host.
Yeah, he does. What's that show? I think WWE Treasures, where they go out and they try to get back all the old wrestling memorabilia.
Yeah,
I enjoyed that show.
I watched one or two of them, and I got bored. He's the host of that one?
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, and then he has like Cody Rhodes and like different wrestlers and stuff fill in once in a while
They
too.
I watched an episode recently where Booker T was riding around in a car trying to find an old set of Booker T boots or something.
Yeah, they started season 2, which is I think they did it a couple months ago, but Stone Cold was the first one.
Stone Cold?
Yeah, I haven't watched it yet, but I was gonna get into it.
Tell me you did not just say that. That was one of Booker T's old catchphrases. One of my favorite celebrities of all time was the host for Raw back in September of 2009, Josh. Cedric the Entertainer.
Yeah, you like that guy.
I effing love that guy. He's hilarious, and he's such a great dancer. I like his movies. I like everything that Cedric the Entertainer does.
Oh, and then I like Stone Cold and Booker T once they did the match in the grocery store.
Oh,
that was an all-time
classic.
price check on Jackass.
They were hitting each other with cans of baked beans and toilet paper and everything.
And they would sell it so hard too. Like they get hit in the face with a cereal box and act like they just got hit with a tire iron.
It throws you right over a table. You get hit
Booker
with,
T's in like one of the freezer doors that you'd open up.
he hit Stone Cold with a lamb chop or something, right? And Ozzy and Sharon Osbourne were on the problem. What are they doing? Anyone? What's going on with Ozzy and Sharon? Are they still a couple?
They still are, yep.
Yeah.
Jesse Ventura was the host at one point or another. Vern Troyer. Oh, my God. Vern Troyer.
Rest in peace.
Mark Cuban. Dennis Miller. I bet that was a pain in the ass. Mike Tyson was the guest host here in Minneapolis in January of 2010.
Oh, wow.
How about this combination? Don Johnson, heartthrob from the 80s. Very good actor, too. I really think Don Johnson's a damn good actor. Or am I alone on that?
I like Don Johnson.
He was there, and so there were two co-hosts this particular night in Knoxville, Tennessee. It was Don Johnson and John Heater. Isn't that the dude who was
Napoleon Dynamite?
Yeah.
Oh,
what the hell were those two guys doing?
I don't know.
William Shatner was a host, guest host at one point. Jerry Springer, Cheech and Chong. Here's a guy I know Josh saw in concert once, Chris Angel.
Yeah, I saw Chris Angel. He put on a great show.
Pete Rose. David Hasselhoff.
Pete Rose, WWE Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
True dat.
Yeah. Here's a trio of hosts that jumped in on the Raw program. Will Forte, Kristen Wiig. Oh, I got this one figured out already. Will Forte, Kristen Wiig, and Ryan Philippe were there to promote MacGruber. Is that how you said it? MacGruber.
I love MacGruber.
And a bunch of wrestlers were in that movie. It's terrible. I saw a little bit of that. Wayne Brady was a guest host. And so was Josh at Mellon Arena, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, May 10th, 2010, 2000 plus 10. The host was Flava Flav.
Nice.
That's great. Hey, look, thanks everybody who came out to see us at the Minnesota State Fair last Friday. Did we have some people stop by last Friday or what, Cubby?
Yeah, we did. That was fun. That was
a lot of fun.
I'll be damned.
Time went by too quick.
It always does.
Still can't believe people buy merchandise and then instantly turn to us to have us destroy it.
I don't know what you're talking about.
By adding our ugly signatures to it?
Yeah, totally.
That was a weird thing to say.
It always shocks me.
I refuse
like,
to sign anything. Did we have some people stop by or what? Yes, we did. And well, Josh, if it went by too fast, well, I've got good news for you.
What's that?
We're going to go back this Friday.
Hey, how about that?
And there'll be nobody there.
I'd imagine you're right.
We already ran through the amount of people that would have willingly come to the fair to come see us.
You know what was awesome about it? Not one awkward interaction for me. I didn't embarrass myself once that I know of.
Well,
dang it,
for
somebody's
you,
going to text
Josh.
in and say, no, it was pretty weird.
I'm glad to hear that. But, you know, you consider things that aren't terribly awkward, you consider them to be awkward. You always think that you're doing something wrong or standing wrong or saying something wrong.
Yeah,
I'm sure 9 times out of 10 you're fine anyway.
Well, I had text Nick on Friday because one of my neighbors who, I don't know him too well, but our sons play all the time. And so I'd like to get to know him a little better. And there's this neighborhood party coming up that we were invited to. And so I had texted him just to kind of check in, you know, just to kind of have a little camaraderie, right, between a couple of men.
Well, as my dad would say, you know this line, don't you, Josh?
Camaraderie? Or what does he say?
We went on a fishing trip years ago, and someone asked my dad, hey, how was that fishing trip? And my dad said, oh, it was great. We caught a few fish, but he said, the reason I really go on those fishing trips, the reason why I really enjoy them is because of the camaraderie.
Yeah, so that's what I was looking for, right?
So this is a guy you just recently met.
Oh, I met him about a year ago, and so we've texted a couple times, and then if I see him in the neighborhood, we talk a little bit.
That's
nice, really
cute.
nice guy.
You guys ever sit down, play a little Monopoly, watch The Price is Right?
Nothing like that.
Okay.
No wife swapping, nothing. We're nothing like that. And I absolutely adore his son. He's absolutely hilarious. He is the best trash talker I've ever met. He's very good at it.
You've told me about this kid. I kind of want to smack him.
He's great. If you met him, you'd understand. He's awesome. But so I texted him about this party coming up and said, hey, so this party, is this the kind of thing where you and I might hook up by the end of it, right?
Okay.
And Ashley, I learned this term from you last week. He left me on red.
Oh,
No.
poor Josh.
Dude,
And
no.
what does it mean to be left on red?
Still, when you read the message and you don't reply, or they don't reply.
It'll say red.
Yeah.
So it shows that they got it.
READ.
Yeah.
Oh, that's even worse, dude.
And so
he got this text and then never said anything back.
No, I forgot about it. I had texted him when we were getting a ride back to the station. I'm like, I was thinking about it, so I texted him. And I forgot about it until later in the day. And I'm an animal, and I delete texts every night. I don't know. I just can't. I don't like having them there.
Too much pressure.
Yeah. And so all of a sudden I looked and I go, oh no, he never got back. So then I texted him back and I said, whoops, are we not there yet? And then he got back to me a couple hours later.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, he was.
You thought for a second
hours later,
there.
though?
After that, so I mean, we're talking a period of 8 hours from the first one.
I'd be so stressed.
You thought maybe your sarcastic flirting, you thought maybe he had taken that to heart.
And I thought maybe we just weren't at that level yet.
Jeez.
But he never answered the question.
No, he didn't. You'll find
So
out at
there's
the party.
a chance.
Yeah.
You'll get to find out at the party. Yeah, so thanks everyone for coming out to the fair Friday. We'll be back this Friday from 10 to noon. Again, if you'd like to if you'd like to say hello if you're on your way out to the fair. Anyway, I'm not trying to steal any thunder away from Pablo and Corey Taylor, but I plan on visiting the fair today as soon as we're done here.
Think you'll stop by and see Corey?
Me?
Yeah.
No.
I wouldn't think so.
Mondays are good days at the fair.
Well,
Slower.
I hope so.
Yeah, my parents are going. They're going to go see the Turtles tonight.
I like turtles.
I know you do.
Oh, the Happy Together crowd are playing tonight. And your folks are going to go?
Yeah, they're going. It's Senior Day. They're seeing the Turtles. Everything's coming up for the Wessels.
Is it Senior Day?
It is.
That's great.
Yeah. And they say it's statistically this Monday is usually the lowest attended day at the fair.
Yeah.
Really?
I hope so. I hope so.
I can tell you the promotions person who drives everyone to and from the fair, he was very excited because he gets to pick up Corey and bring him back to the venue today.
Cool.
That's cool.
Say what now?
The driving.
Who's picking up Corey Taylor to bring him to the venue?
Jerry.
About that one.
Yeah.
Our coworker Jerry, who
oh no!
What have they done?
Well, Corey Taylor's never going to want to come back here again.
Well, I hope they take a different vehicle. We got in the vehicle on Friday, and I go to close the door, and the panel on the interior of the door fell off.
Sometimes Josh just doesn't know his own strength. He's just so powerful.
This place sucks. That was so perfect, wasn't it?
What were you, Ashley and Wappa, what were you guys doing there a minute ago? Something about driving. What's the problem?
No, we had the same reaction you did as Jerry. Yeah, with Jerry driving him.
Oh, yeah, that's not good.
Yeah, that's not good.
No, it's not good to have Jerry exposed to Corey Taylor.
Maybe it'll be fun.
It's not going to be fun. No.
He's going to have to fill out a waiver.
What time is Corey Taylor going to be hanging out with Pablo today?
4.
4 o'clock?
Yeah, he'll be there at 4.
Okay, broadcasting from the little black box that stinks.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, doing a little interview with Pablo.
Well, that's fun. Swing by our booth, everybody. We're right by the grandstand across from Sweet Martha Cookie. We got new gear. You can register to win an autographed Godsmack guitar. And then Corey Taylor this afternoon hanging out with Pueblo.
That Godsmack guitar would be pretty sweet to win. A few people, I noticed plenty of people, I guess, signing up for that thing.
You ever see those guys in concert?
I have. Yeah, I forget. It was a 93X show. There's a few different bands on the bill. They weren't the headliner. I forget who was, but I have seen them. They were good.
I saw them open up for Metallica.
Your thoughts?
That was good.
Yeah, they put on a good show.
Yeah, it was very good.
Yeah, it's not... I don't think I'd put a CD in necessarily, but they're a talented band.
Well, there you go.
I may have seen one bad apple at the fair who may have registered more than once for the Godsmack guitar.
Oh, really?
But I didn't write them out.
We have our ways of sifting through that.
You know,
So,
and
nice
for the
try.
record, a lot of times they just chuck them. Adios, cheater.
We're contractually obligated to hand that to one of our relatives, that new Godsmack guitar.
Well,
anyway,
that's what Governor Walz wants us to do.
Right, exactly.
He's in charge.
We'll take a little break. Thanks for tuning in on this gorgeous Monday. We'll be right back on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
There's a douchiness to them.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Hey, Minnesota. CJ Ham here. Huddle up for a second. You need someone to go the extra yard when your furnace or AC is out? Give the ball to the certified pros at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. They've been at it for 90 years. Ready? Break.
It's savings on a stick season with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning State Fair specials. Deals on deals on deals. Savings from $30 on a tune-up all the way up to $950 on a new cooling system. Visit standardheating.com/offers for details on all their State Fair deals. Standard Heating, providing the comfort you deserve since 1930.
Half-Assed Morning Show. 93X.
Are you currently enjoying the show on the Stitcher app? Then you need to know Stitcher is going away on August 29th. Yep, going away, as in kaput, gone, dead. Rest in peace, Stitcher, and thanks for 15 years of service to the podcast community. So switch to another podcast app and follow this show there. Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen.
Stupid news on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
Oh, sure. God dang it. I just broke my microphone, Josh.
Did it fall out of the thing?
Yeah, it fell out of the thing.
Casualty.
Yeah, there's a lot of pubic hair on the end of this.
It's funny how that always happens every day.
What do they call this thing here?
A mic condom.
The mic condom, the fuzzy
pop
thing.
filter?
Yeah, you put it on top of it's just covered in pubes. So
it's
we're going to
actually
be
made out of pubes.
It is.
Yeah, it's not necessarily covered. It's just coming apart.
That explains everything. We're going to be back at the fair this Friday from 10 to noon, back at our 93X broadcast booth. If you want to stop by and say hello, we'd appreciate it. And there's going to be something special going on with the Half-Ass Morning Show's appearance this coming Friday. We'll explain that later. I had someone texted in and asked me this question about last Friday's appearance. We appreciate everyone stopping by. We met a lot of nice people. One listener asked me this question: did you have any rule breakers there at your booth that didn't buy anything? And I wrote back, there were a couple, but most folks understood what was expected of them.
Yeah, I feel like we moved a lot of merch those 2 hours.
And I just want and I want folks to know that this Friday, when we make our second appearance from 10 to noon, the same rule applies as last Friday: buy something or leave. There were a couple of rule breakers.
And you mean leave the fair?
Yes.
Not necessarily our booth.
Leave the property, the fairground.
They will be escorted off fairgrounds.
All right, on with the stupid news. Here's a sick, diabolical bastard for you right here. You're probably already wondering, is he in Florida? And the answer is no, he's in Eagan. No, I'm kidding. He's in Burnsville.
That's where he belongs.
No, it's Florida. It actually is Florida. This sick idiot was apparently caught on video launching a chemical attack on his upstairs neighbors because he thought they were being too loud.
0 to 100 very fast.
No face-to-face confrontation, no mature conversation with the landlord, a godforsaken chemical attack. And I'll explain what he was doing here in a minute. First, let me tell you about a fella named Umar Abdullah. He and his then-pregnant wife moved into their new place in June of 20+22. Soon enough, Cubby, their little damn baby girl upped and fell out the girlfriend.
That's awesome.
And now they've got themselves a little family unit type of a setup. Isn't that the cutest thing you heard all day? But little did they know they were living one level above a sick maniac by the name of Zooming Lee. So, the little baby they had over there was gonna do baby things, screaming its ass off from time to time, right?
Yep.
Zooming Lee didn't like that type of a thing. Nor did he like any little bit of noise coming from the Abdullah house. Abdullah said Zooming started texting him about the smallest noises, like a toilet seat moving.
Oh.
The toilet seat, you flip it down, it goes bunk. He'd make a phone call. What was that? Pretty noisy up there. Zooming said he couldn't sleep because of all the noise coming from upstairs. He complained about everything. He complained about footsteps.
Footsteps?
Footsteps! He complained about door closing sounds, according to Mr. Abdullah. Abdullah said him and his landlord walked around, did a simulation. Are we really that noisy? You know what I'm saying? They walked around the apartment. They lifted the toilet. Is it really that bad? And they didn't think it was that bad. But the complaints from the man downstairs, Zooming Lee, continued for months. Then the Abdullah family started getting sick, grogginess, vomiting. Abdullah said they didn't know what the hell was going on. They noticed a smell, like nail polish remover, but more obnoxious, they said. They checked the air conditioner. They checked the plumbing. Cubby will check your plumbing if you give him a couple of beers. They checked every damn thing. They couldn't figure out why they were all feeling sick and where that smell was coming from. Eventually, Mr. Abdullah realized there was a small crack in the corner of his front door. And then he remembered that his neighbor is a lunatic jagoff. So he threw a hidden camera outside. You see how you are? How it went? He put a hidden camera, and they caught Zooming, or whatever the hell his name is, injecting something through the crack in the door. A hazardous materials test of some sort determined that Zooming Lee was injecting a liquid chemical agent into the crack of the family's door.
Psychotic.
Yes, it is. Tests revealed the presence of both methadone and hydrocodone. I don't know what those things do, but they sound bad. And our guy Abdullah here made a terrific point. He says, even during war, the worst enemies do not attack with chemicals.
True.
But yet, this psycho neighbor, I don't know about the rest of you, but I think I would have charged right over to that guy's place and started windmilling punches at the sumbitch like I was under contract with Dana White. You know what I mean?
Yep, absolutely.
That'd be tough not to.
Lee was arrested. He's pleaded not guilty. Dude, you're on effing video.
And it's really good quality video, too.
Pull your head out of your ass.
I'm lucky. Never had any major issues with a neighbor.
I'm in the same boat. Never had any issues. That is some twisted behavior right there, son.
I've got a friend who has, and it seems like a nightmare situation.
It sounds exhausting. It's where you're supposed to feel the safest, in your home.
Yeah, it's...
That is true, and you said that so adorably.
It did.
No, never had any bad problems.
I've probably been the neighbor that people have had problems with in the past.
In what way?
Well, what do you...
It's in early 20s, just being loud and stupid, playing music late at night, coming back from the bars.
That's
that kind
pretty
of stuff.
typical.
Yeah. I mean, nothing out of the ordinary, nothing psychotic, but yeah, I was definitely that loud, drunk neighbor.
Yeah, I've told you before, my brother and I, when we were in our late teens, early 20s with the beer parties every night, our neighbors were very, very patient with that. My brother did have, I told you about this before, Josh. My brother had that neighbor who would get drunk every night and crank REO Speedwagon out on his patio, out on the back deck. And my brother's pretty, my brother used to party his balls off, so he doesn't hold anything against people who drink and crank music. But it was just every night, and it was a terrible thing because it made my brother dislike REO Speedwagon. Oh. And nobody in their friggin' right mind dislikes REO Speedwagon.
Yeah, that's an aggravated crime at this point.
Yes. But one night I was over there, and it was like the 30th straight night that his neighbor got drunk and cranked up Roll with the Changes by her. And my brother shouted over the fence. He said, "Oh, real original, REO Speedwagon again. That's great." The guy's sitting over there with a friggin' Captain and Coke. What's your problem? Huh? As soon as you are able, honey, I am willing. Is how he comes off in that song, right, Josh?
Yeah, a friend of mine had to ask his neighbor not to blast his music that just on the deck when nobody's there. He's just running around the house. He blasted outside for some reason.
Really?
Pointed right at my friend's house.
Huh.
For you television wrestling fans, this here next story reminds me of the story of the plane ride from hell.
Uh-oh.
And if you don't know, if you don't follow television wrestling, the plane ride from hell was an insane plane trip that the WWE roster took from the UK to New York 20-some years ago, where a number of disasters took place. Ric Flair was walking the aisle, D swinging. The late, great Kurt Hennig kicked Brock Lesnar's ass, and the two of them nearly crashed through the emergency exit at 30,000 feet. Someone cut off all of Michael Hayes' hair while he was sleeping.
They drank all the free alcohol on the open bar.
Probably led to all those other things.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And Dustin Rhodes took control of the intercom system and was singing love songs to his then-wife, Terry F. Me Runnin' Runnels. Every last one of them should have gone to jail. Here's what I got for you. This is why the plane ride from hell came to mind. A video's been, you know how it goes, Josh. A video's been going round and round.
They go and get popular online, don't they?
And the video is of a passenger who hijacked the intercom system on a delayed Jetstar airliner plane ride. A gal hijacked the intercom system and went ahead and serenaded everybody with a rendition of a song called La Vie est Rose.
But then we move on and forget.
Wow. She has a pretty voice.
Could be worse.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Does anyone have that 45?
I do not.
No.
That's
the only version I've heard.
It's an old French song. Some unlucky bastard who was trapped on that airplane posted on stupid social media. He said, our flight has been delayed 2 hours and now this hippie is effing singing. He called her a hippie. She doesn't even do requests, he said. The video went mental, and then eventually it was taken down. A spokesperson for the airline said, while we enjoyed the impromptu in-flight entertainment, the PA system should only be used by crew, so this is going to have to be a one-off performance. Some social media clowns compared this to a scene from the movie they called Bridesmaid.
I'm ready to party with the best of them. And I'm gonna go down to the river.
I don't remember that. What the hell was that? Kristen Wiig's character takes a pill to ease her fear of flying and ends up singing a song to the folks in first class.
Yeah, she got a little loopy there.
If you're curious, this song the other gal belted out on the airplane, called La Vieille, is a 1945 ballad that was popular worldwide in the aftermath of World War II.
Well, the little bit I heard, it sounds like a pretty song.
What would you think about that, Josh, if you're sitting on one of those godforsaken airplanes and all you want to do is go home and someone who's had too many Steve Weisers is singing their nuts off into the PA? They better be good.
Yeah, I don't know. I think, it really depends on my mood, I guess.
Yeah.
At the time. Right now, I think it would be fine. But I dislike traveling, so maybe at that point, it wouldn't be as funny.
Yeah, if I was so tired, there was 30 minutes left of the flight. Oh, I'd be pissed. I hate this person.
I'd like it if it was REO Speedwagon.
There a video went viral recently of a plane was stuck on the tarmac for 2-3 hours. The plane's landed, but you're just sitting there. They don't have a way to get you in yet. And some indie band, they decided to get up and just kind of start singing some of their songs and kind of clapping along. And they're just the looks on some of the people's faces were like, I want to jump off this plane right now.
Yeah, I'd end my life.
Man, are you sure that wasn't the Brady Bunch? I love that scene from the Brady Bunch where they got up on the airplane and started singing.
Oh, did they? I missed that one.
Which was that the first one or the second one? I think that was the second one because they went off to Hawaii.
Yeah.
God, the Brady Bunch movies, those were so friggin' perfectly done.
I'd like to hear the Kenosha Kickers from Home Alone, John Candy's band.
the
little polka band.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
They could get her done. Here's a listener texting in on the airplane singer saying it could have been worse. It could have been Cotton Eye Joe on repeat. Yes, I hate that friggin' song.
We were talking about Neighbors from Hell, right? And I know there's been a couple stories locally about that in the past. A particular woman who made it tough for her neighbors. This text says, check out Neighborhood Wars on A&E. Good stuff. I've never heard of that.
Me neither.
All right, moving on. I would think there's got to be an easier way for this guy to make a living, but you do what you got to do. A week or so ago in Cuba, Cuba's ultimate Iron Man, a fella named Lino Thomason. He beat himself sideways with a sledgehammer in front of a crowd just to prove he's got the balls to do it. This is what this guy does.
All right. Good for him.
He picked up the hammer, by God he did, and he smashed himself in the wrists.
Ouch.
And in the elbow. And in the forearms, he did. Do we have video of this nonsense?
I didn't see any.
Yeah, I sent it to you late.
Oh.
I saw some still photos.
Yeah, I did too, and I was hoping to see some video at one point. Apparently,
he's a big dude.
It ain't no thing for Lino to do this type of thing. And when he's done, he just strolls on out of there like nothing happened. He's an Iron Man, Cubby.
Yeah, I can see why. He's a pretty big guy.
It says here, Lino Thomason once aspired to be the next Mike Tyson. He was training to become a professional boxer. And part of his training was to brain himself with the hammer. He says, I had 27 matches. I won them all by knockout. But, He says, I retired because in my last fight, I fractured the skull of my opponent and he died instantly.
What?
Well,
yeah, I'd probably
Christ.
retire after that too.
Oh, no. He says, I gave away all the money I made in my fights to that opponent's family.
Sounds like a good dude.
Around $100,000, and he vowed to never fight again. So now he just does this sidewalk sledgehammer routine in town, and he works for tips. And he's got other gimmicks that he dumps on the crowd. Recently, he did push-ups on his bent wrists. Can you picture what I mean by that?
Mm-hmm.
With his hands bent. He did push-ups on his bent wrists with a full-grown man on his back. And then he pulled out the sledgehammer again and gave himself a terrible beating.
Oh.
He says he enjoys being an inspiration for those who strive to break barriers, and he has no regrets in leaving behind a potential career in boxing. He says they have offered me thousands, millions of dollars to get back into the ring. Okay,
All right, man.
I'm not buying that. But he says, I have always said no. I want to be remembered as someone who pushed the limits of what was possible.
By beating himself with a sledgehammer.
Yeah, right. Like I think you could go a few different other routes.
Hey, don't aggravate this guy. Why are you trying to aggravate the Iron Man of Cuba?
What's he gonna do? Get so upset that he beats himself?
No, he's going to beat you.
And then himself.
I wonder if he's ready to take that sledgehammer to his testicles or something like that. That's what I worry about these
Yeah,
things.
I was waiting for you to say that.
He never, as far as I know, he has not sledgehammered his own testicles.
He'll get there.
I've seen that where they put a board over it, like a piece of wood over it, and then they hit the wood, and then it hits your wood.
Did you see this in person?
In person? No.
Oh, okay. I don't know, maybe like Vegas or something?
I was hoping to see it at your wedding.
So wait a
Maybe
minute.
the next one.
You put your testicles down on, say, a table, and then you put some wood on top of your testicles, and you hit the wood with
like a 2x4.
You hammer.
Yeah, if somebody. Well, in this case, somebody else did it for him.
Here's a text from Ojibwe Jesus. He says, "Oh, the Iron Man of Cuba. Is he a strong guy? Is he a big, strong guy?" Yeah, he is. All right. Well, it's an interesting gig he's got there. I hope he does well. A California mall was evacuated last Thursday night, and a person was arrested. A dude was arrested because a painted toilet was left at the mall with a note indicating it was a bomb. I'd rather beat my own nuts with a hammer than be one of these bomb threat derelicts. Local cops had to give her hell and race over to a place called the Americana Mall in Glendale, California, after a toilet that had an image of a skull painted on it was left in a grassy area.
You want a skull painted?
The skull suite, yeah.
You had to jump in there and say, cool.
It sounds sweet.
Because there was a skull painted on a toilet.
Sounds pretty cool.
Okay. See if you can contain yourself this time, Ashley.
We'll see.
Have you ever pooped a skull? That would freak the hell out of me, I'll tell you what.
The skull?
The whole skull? When the hell did I eat a skull?
The cops raced over there after a toilet that had an image of a skull painted on it was left in a grassy area at the mall, along with a note saying something wacky about a bomb, I guess.
Can never be too careful. We've all seen Lethal Weapon 2.
Yeah, that was a funny scene.
That was great.
I'm too old for this. I'm too old for this. I'm too old for this. I'm too old for this, too.
We're not too old for this. We're not too old for this.
Yeah. I had a feeling someone would bring that up.
You know what bothered me about that movie scene where Danny Glover's character is sitting on the toilet and he can't get off the toilet because if he does, a bomb will kill him. And this is just the nitpicky things that you see in movies that it didn't occur to me the first time I saw the movie, but the second time I thought, what the hell? If the bad guys hadn't written boom on the toilet paper, they could have killed the guy. But he looks at the toilet, because he's going to wipe, of course. We're not animals, of course. He looks at the toilet, it says boom, and then he knows there's a... You see what I'm saying, Josh?
Yeah, maybe that was part of it for him. They wanted to terrify him. Otherwise, he'd just be dead.
Police and mall security. Oh, cool. Initiated an evacuation. How do you say that?
Evacuation?
Yeah. Police and mall security initiated an evacuation. But there was never any real threat. The toilet was just a toilet.
With a skull painted on it.
Cool.
Yeah, what's that doing there then? What?
After speaking with witnesses and looking at security footage, police identified a suspect, a 22-year-old vomit bag named Timothy Tarantula. He was arrested for allegedly making a false bomb threat. And this Timothy guy, after he set up his stupid fake bomb, I effing guarantee he was sitting at home whacking off to his police scanner. I guarantee it. I know a guy who did real time for something similar to that. He's coming over tonight to watch the Twins game. I'm kidding. I have no contact with this guy anymore. This guy I used to know, he bought himself a police scanner. And then he'd call in fake emergencies so he could hear it over his police scanner, and he could go, "Oh, that was me. I called that in."
My God. That's sick.
Oh, hell yes. Yes.
Pretty weird. You can get enough excitement just listening to it, but I suppose, he wanted to insert himself into that.
Yeah, so we'd call in and say, "There's a fire down the street." And, "Oh, thank you for the call." And then he'd sit there, "We got a fire on 13th Ave." And he'd go, "Oh, that's me." Jeez. And he went to friggin' jail. Dude.
This is a bit off topic, but here's how I got here. I was thinking, I wonder if nowadays you could say, "Man, I dropped a bomb in there," when you walk out of the bathroom, right? Or if people are going to freak out.
Oh.
Right? Back in the day, it was a joke. Now you never know because of douchebags like this guy. Mm-hmm. Remember when we were at an airport and one of our coworkers kept making bomb jokes, and we're like, hey, you can't do that. We're trying to tell him to shut up, and eventually he just kept doing it. We just said, "Okay, you're on your own at this point." Walking through the TSA, making all these bomb jokes.
It's not funny.
Yeah, it's not like he was hammered. He wasn't on anything. It's just he thought it was hilarious.
Yeah, this guy thought he was funny, and he wasn't. By the way, a couple people have texted in to say, the scene with Danny Glover on the toilet. They said it bothers them. I mentioned that it bothers me that the bad guys wrote bomb on the toilet paper. Come on, what do you do? Of course, he's going to figure out what's going on and call in Mel Gibson, and he's going to survive. A couple listeners are saying what bothers them about that scene is that Danny Glover never did wipe.
No.
It aggravates them to know that. Gross. Mel Gibson had to pull this guy with a poopy bottom off the toilet?
Maybe it was one of those clean ones and he didn't need to.
Well, it could have been.
Skinny Carpenter Jesus text in, that's right. Someone did do that. I dropped a bomb in their joke at a hardware store, and the cops had to respond.
Oh, yeah. Now, speaking of the toilet, here's some great news. Specifically for the women in this building who ever have to follow Ashley into the ladies' room.
Talk about making noises in there.
Here's the news. Scientists may have finally figured out a way to make a skid mark-free toilet.
Yeah, I'm surprised. Sometimes the ones here, which have the most powerful flush I've ever experienced.
Very powerful.
Bow!
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
But sometimes there's still skid marks on that thing, and I can't figure that out.
Scientists?
It's like a power washer.
Yeah,
it is.
It's got some torque. Scientists might have finally figured out a way to make it so skid marks in toilets don't happen anymore.
I was going to say Josh got a second job.
Because I'm
he's good at
peeing them off?
Mm-hmm.
That's true. I can wipe out skid marks pretty well with my
I
stream.
should just hire you, fly you all over the country.
I think it's because I have a narrow urethra. And it just makes it a little more powerful.
Stronger.
I'd rather the Knicks.
Mine's like Josh has said before. Well, you can go ahead and it almost sounds like bragging if I said it.
It's like you dump out a bucket.
Yeah.
When you pee.
My urethra is like
it's very quick.
5-gallon Home Depot bucket. Yeah.
Very voluminous.
Yeah. Well, this is interesting. Skid mark-free toilets. I want one in the building. I'm joking about Ashley. She doesn't
do that.
She doesn't do that. We got some fellas here, though, because we hang out in the men's room from time to time. We got some fellas in this building. By God, they know how to butter a bowl.
Ew.
It's an art for a couple of them. I can't figure it out. Like the whole thing.
Yeah. Chinese researchers, they've come up with a toilet that gross turds can't stick to. A non-stick toilet bowl that could make toilet brushes obsolete.
Delete.
You still might want to keep the poop knife, though. They say there's nothing they can do about that right now. You might want to keep a poop knife.
I was here when I learned about the poop knife.
Yeah, me too. I was just going to say, I had never heard of a poop knife until, I don't know, 7, 8, 9, 10 years ago. We had a
It was a stupid news story. And then people were texting in saying, yeah, that is not uncommon whatsoever to have a poop knife.
I couldn't go through with that.
I learned it from quite possibly the most attractive woman I've ever met. And she told a story about how at her cabin, she once had to go get a plastic knife to separate things a little bit down there. And I was like, wow. And I still find you wildly attractive even after that story.
I had to teach my boyfriend what that was like not too long ago, but it wasn't because I had to use it growing up. It was because I grew up with 5 brothers. Like, it was very normal, and it was like kept in the bathroom.
I couldn't do it.
Did you know that the bowl was supposed to be white? Because there's just so many skid marks on that bowl.
Actually, we didn't have a white toilet until they moved out.
Maybe if you let me use a screwdriver, but if I used an actual knife, I'd associate that with food, and that would become a problem, I think. So I guess a screwdriver or a the team from Hongzhong University of Science or something or another over there in China used 3D printing technology to fabricate what they call a turd skid resistant super slippery toilet. They plopped dyed synthetic feces down into the bowl and it left no trails. Isn't that exciting?
That is.
The scientist group there in China even tested their new toilet by pouring foods that belong in a toilet down there for a test run. Ketchup, guacamole, things like that. Thanksgiving turkey, foods that belong in the garbage.
Wait. So if it can get streaks off, is it do you not have to clean your toilet as often? Like normally? Like, is it handle the other liquid?
They don't mention anything in there about
You're
that.
You're supposed to clean your toilet?
Yeah. Yes.
What a wonderful time we live in.
That'd be really cool if I didn't have to clean my toilet.
Only Poops While Punched In Jesus said, if you think that we've got the flushing power here, try flushing a toilet in jail, he said. There's so much flushing pressure, the temperature in your cell drops 2 degrees.
Oh, my.
It sucks the heat right out of their waffle.
Man.
I need some AC. Flush. Flush.
So no one here has the poop knife?
No.
But you had one growing up?
Yeah.
Like I said, I don't think I could do it.
What, did you throw that thing in the dishwasher? How'd you clean that?
I don't know. That was my mom's thing.
I'm going to put a Sawzall in there and just tell guests that's what it's for.
I don't know.
There's some clippers.
Maybe no one in my family has ever been regular enough to need a poop knife. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you want to talk about family digestive records.
Well, I guess a friend of mine in high school, I remember him saying that his dad had to go in and break his up. It was
That's so bad. What are you talking about? What the hell's that? What are you eating all day long?
Well, he likes to work with his hands. His dad, he can fix or build anything. And I guess he just went for it.
On my ex's 30th birthday, her sister was in town visiting us. And we had one toilet in the place we were living at the time. And the sister clogged that thing so bad, beyond repair. So we're trying to have this 30th birthday, having an emergency plumber come out. Both of them were crying because they're so embarrassed and upset. It was just horrific.
I had that problem. I had that problem once with a female who was visiting my house. She clogged the toilet in the morning, and it was, my God, it was horrible.
I took a peek. I was like, did you put all the toilet paper we had in that bowl? What did you think was going to happen?
I'm confused by this text. Okay, this text in all caps says, okay, next topic, I'm trying to eat. All right?
So?
And that is from Everyone Loves a Good Dump Jesus.
Yeah. You're just kind of...
it seems like you'd be okay with that.
I guess the name is good, but any conversation about it... You confuse us. You confuse us, sir.
Angry Bus Driver Jesus said... Why don't you let me take a crack at that skid mark-free toilet?
Oh, God. Here we go.
Sports on the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
This past week, we lost 2 beloved members of our WWE family. Hall of Famer Terry Funk, and the one and only Bray Wyatt. Tonight on Friday Night SmackDown, we will honor their legacy and celebrate their lives. Please join us for a moment of silence and our traditional 10-bell salute.
Yeah, that was tough. Very sad. It's been a tough run for the WWE.
Tough run for Wapple. Wapple told me he was balling the other day.
Get a grip on yourself, Wapple. Get a grip.
Oh, dude, the tribute that they put out for Bray Wyatt, it was so tough.
I hear you. It was very sad. Yeah, it seemed like neither team wanted to win yesterday's ball game at Target Field. But with a little luck, the Twins came out on top after 13 innings of baseball. The Twins beat the Texas Rangers 7-6, and they won it with the most exciting play in the game, the bases-loaded walk.
That was kind of anticlimactic.
Both clubs were completely out of live human beings. And the Rangers had to put this kid in the 13th inning who, I mean, me, Wapple, and Ashley showed better control in our first pitches at Target Field than this kid. And so he walked 3 batters, including the game-winning run. Win's a win. You know, it took 3 or 4 from Texas. Texas is really struggling. Now, here's the deal. They fire it up tonight. First of, I think 4. Is it 4 or 3 or 4 with the Guardians?
3.
First of 3 with the Guardians. Kente on the bump starting tonight on Bally Sports. We'll get into much, much more at 7:30, 7:35, whatever, with Brad Ryder and Randy Shaver. Josh's News is coming up.
There's a douchiness to them.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Hey Minnesota, CJ Ham here. Huddle up for a second. You need someone to go the extra yard when your furnace or AC is out? Give the ball to the certified pros at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. They've been at it for 90 years. Ready? Break.
It's savings on a stick season with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning State Fair specials. Deals on deals on deals. Savings from $30 on a tune-up all the way up to $950 on a new cooling system. Visit standardheating.com/offers for details on all their State Fair deals. Standard Heating, providing the comfort you deserve since 1930.
Half-Assed Morning Show. 93X.
It's time for kickoff, and the Believe podcast will get you ready for the new season.
How do you live through this as a Detroit sports fan?
Believe has podcasts covering all 32 professional teams and many of your favorite college teams, too.
You solidified your defense. You got better.
Sideline to sideline, end zone to end zone.
If you don't do those things, then you're not even trying your hardest to win at football, and I don't know what we're doing.
There was a lot of great players on those teams that I was fortunate to be part of.
Search BLEAV podcasts wherever you listen.
Half-Assed Morning Show. 93X.
Bob Barker, the longtime host of television's The Price is Right, who used his combination of comfort, food, charm, and deadpan humor to become an American television staple, has died. Robert William Barker was born in Washington, December 12, 1923. After a 2-year stint in the Navy at the tail end of World War II, he landed a job at a radio station in Florida, and it didn't take long for word of his smooth delivery to travel. In 1950, he moved to California to start his own radio program, The Bob Barker Show in Burbank. Television producers clearly tuned in, and he landed his first game show in 1956, NBC's Truth or Consequences, a job he would hold for 18 years until it went off the air. In 1967, he began a 20-year run as MC for the Miss Universe and Miss America pageants. And in 1969, he started a similarly long run as the host of the New Year's Day Tournament of Roses parade. His stint as host of The Price is Right began in 1972, and he did so for more than 3 decades, his final episode airing June 15th of 2007. Bob Barker was 99.
He knew how to host a program, I'll tell you that, Cubby.
He did. He was awesome.
I always loved him when he would get frustrated with the contestants, too. Maybe they keep screwing up, they don't understand the rules of the game, and you can just see him just kind of like, no, this is not how you do it.
I loved the yodeler guy.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Cliffhanger?
Cliffhanger.
Yep. Yeah, that was one of my favorite games. Yeah, I was mentioning earlier that was a big part of our summer. Every day, I think at 10 o'clock on Channel 4, we'd watch The Price is Right together. So he will be missed. 99, though, that's a pretty good poke.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Day 5 at the State Fair.
What the hell's going on over there?
Senior Day today. $13 tickets at the gates for folks 65 and up. And it's a big day for 93X. Very special appearance by Slipknot and Stone Sour frontman Corey Taylor at the 93X booth with Pablo at 4 p.m. We're located at the grandstand right across from Sweet Martha's and Dan Patch Avenue. And there was an attendance record set on Friday. 164,741 folks went through the gates. That set the new State Fair record, surpassing the previous record set in 2019 by more than 7,500 people. And once again, the morning show will be at the 93X booth this Friday from 10 a.m. till noon. We've got a little something special planned this coming Friday we can talk about later this morning. A Florida man says they've been terrorized by a group of masked teenagers who aggressively banged on their front door in the middle of the night for more than a year, and they have no idea why.
They're showing up on our property with ski masks. They're disguising themselves. It's close to midnight. One guy jumped up here and he took almost like a karate kick and he put his foot to the door. And it sounds like the door's almost going to come in. It's a really, really loud thud, bang.
Surveillance video captured by the family shows the boys creeping up on their Fort Myers home in the dead of night, bashing the door with their fists and feet. Local police, who've speculated the attack stemmed from a social media challenge, said they're aware of the situation, have asked the public's help identifying the mass marauders. The ceaseless attacks paused during the summer break in June, but have since resumed now that school started. They won't leave us alone. We're peaceful people. We haven't done anything to deserve this, the exasperated homeowner said. One of the troublemaking teens was captured attempting to kick in the door with a karate move, leaving the family scared they would come inside. Footage of the early midnight raids also shows the hooligans shouting and screaming before scampering off into the night.
And they do this every few nights, and it's been going on for a year?
Yeah.
Wouldn't you just go out there with a club or something and just start swinging at these pricks?
Well, and that's the worry. We'll hear from a guy here in a second. Police said the other homes in the area have also been randomly targeted by the assailants over the past year, but this particular family have become a reoccurring target. Professor David Thomas, who specializes in forensic studies at Florida Gulf Coast University, warned the bandits could harass the wrong family one day and suffer the ultimate penalty.
Is the TikTok challenge worth your life? I guess that's probably the best way to look at it.
He said if someone feels like their life is in danger during one of the terrifying rampages, they could be justified in using lethal force.
Jesus, boss. I'm not going to go out and kill anybody, but I think I'd at least run out the front door swinging a double-ended dildo or something. You know what I mean?
Something like that is going to happen, I'd imagine. A man accused of vandalizing an Ohio woman's patio multiple times has been arrested. Police have been looking for a suspect after Ring camera video caught a suspect dumping oil, paint, and a bag of garbage on the patio of a resident around 2:41 a.m. August 19th. However, that Saturday incident appeared that it wasn't the first time the resident's patio had been littered. On the morning of both August 8th and 11th, the resident woke up to trash having been thrown all over her patio. Police stated they believe the suspect may have been a disgruntled food delivery driver. After the second incident, she had the Ring camera installed.
After the garbage fiasco, she put up a camera. 3 days later, her camera caught the same man who had delivered her Uber Eats dumping more garbage, cans of paint, and oil on her patio in the middle of the night.
The resident had made a report to Uber Eats August 6th that the person delivering her food was not associated to the account that was supposed to deliver it, and apparently that set the man off.
Sounds like another problem that swinging a double-ended dildo over that could probably solve that problem too.
There's so many uses for a double-ended dildo.
Quite versatile.
Have you heard the one that it's intended for?
Yes,
My God, that'll rock your world.
You never considered home security, though, did you?
No, not at all.
Swing it above your head, a double-ended dildo, preferably a bright color, purple, red, and just make this sound. I bet you people scatter off your property pretty quickly.
Instantly.
Well, now if I see someone with one, I'm not sure how the night's going to go. Those are completely opposite uses for such a thing.
Do you think if you drill a hole through it, you could make it like one of those noise makers that makes that noise?
That's called a Vuvuzela.
Oh, that'd be sweet.
Zalo. Why don't you test that out, Wapple, at home with the landlord?
I mean, I got 4 of them, so I might as well use one of them.
There's you pressing your mouth towards one end of a double-ended dildo, trying to make sure that someone has a cell phone camera when this is happening.
Well, I mentioned we were going to have something special for the fair plan on Friday, and it's been ruined.
Surprise, surprise.
It's been ruined. Now you guys have spoiled it.
Marijuana makes you think, Could I turn a double-ended dildo into a musical instrument?
I think you're thinking of a different instrument. We used them in elementary school, and it was just like a tube, and you wave.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Oh, when you swing it above your head.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Oh, I thought you were going to vuvuzela that sumbitch.
I was following you, homie.
Yeah, not play it like a clarinet.
Sorry I blew up.
Yeah.
Yeah, Waffle, bring one of those things on Friday.
All right.
No, you said you got 4 of them.
A man charged Thursday with setting off a pipe bomb in St. Paul in June that damaged 2 vehicles told police it was intended for the vehicle of a man he was livid with because he said the man desecrated his father's ashes by pouring them onto the ground.
Oh, no.
Witnesses and video cameras in the area documented a sedan approaching, a male's arm reaching out of the front driver's side, and the vehicle speeding away. Smoke was seen near the driver's side of a Ford Ranger, and then there was an explosion. By enhancing video, police were able to identify the license plate of the suspect vehicle and learned a 45-year-old St. Paul man was the vehicle's primary driver. The owner of the damaged Ranger told police she heard the pipe bomb was intended for a 52-year-old man who frequents her address and also drove a Ranger. After police arrested the man last Tuesday, he told investigators he'd made and deployed the pipe bomb, but it was intended for the vehicle of the 52-year-old, not the woman whose car he damaged.
Freaking pipe bomb.
He said that man, the 52-year-old, had broke into his trailer and poured out his father's ashes for some reason. The man said he bought a pipe bomb and manufactured it. He lit the fuse and tossed it near a truck he believed was the man's. He was wrong.
Good call. If you guys ever catch me in my basement making a pipe bomb, just make a few phone calls, will you?
Okay.
I'm calling Wapple. He's got 4 double-ended dildos.
Figure it out.
A California man was recently arrested for possessing multiple weapons after fleeing from a police officer. They located machetes, a club with metal spikes, large fixed blade knives, a CO2 arrow gun, a lock-picking set, ammunition, and nearly 2 pounds of unsealed marijuana.
Dang.
And among the burglary and robbery tools was something creepy, a mask depicting Chucky, the murderous doll.
No.
Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play?
The man was arrested for various charges, including possession of dangerous weapons against the terms of his probation.
That's the first time Chucky has ever scared anybody in their right friggin' mind.
I was terrified of Chucky growing up.
No, you were not.
Yeah, same here.
Nobody was scared of Chucky.
Until I finally got to the age where I was like, okay, just kick him. Kick him in his face.
A minivan parked illegally was towed from a downtown Minneapolis parking lot early yesterday morning. Unfortunately, there were 3 kids inside. The van was taken to a tow lot in North Minneapolis before the children were discovered. An employee at the lot said the van had tinted windows and the tow truck operator was unaware there was anyone inside.
It was locked with heavily tinted windows, so no one realized there were kids inside under blankets. Minneapolis police not commenting on this situation just yet, but our crews did witness the kids getting checked out, and it seems everyone is just fine.
The children were reunited with their mother.
I bet that tow truck driver feels like a jackass.
Oh, I'm sure.
But the kids had a little bit of fun.
They were sleeping under a blanket. They might not have even known. Real little. The mom apparently was running a quick errand, she said, but, it's 3 in the morning or whatever.
How would that driver ever how would he have ever thought there would have been 3 kids up in there at 3 o'clock in the morning?
True.
3 o'clock in the morning. Oh, wow. That brings up a story that I probably shouldn't tell on the air anymore.
Former North Dakota Governor Ed Schaefer learned a lesson about car keys after his vehicle was stolen as he hosted a Fargo radio show. He was a guest hosting KFGO's News and Views program Friday morning when police called the station to ask if he owned a 2020 GMC Yukon. Well, he used to. Turns out the SUV had been stolen out of the station's parking lot. The thief apparently drove it to a probation office and surrendered to authorities. The vehicle has a push-button start and requires a key fob to be in the vehicle before it can be operated. Apparently, he left a spare fob inside, enabling the thief to start it and drive off. The former governor said that his wife has given him a lot of crap about that.
I bet.
The former governor and U.S. Agriculture Secretary says that he's been warned about being more careful.
All right, I'm sorry. I feel like I can't just say that brings up a story that I shouldn't tell on the radio anymore and just leave you hanging. It's not that bad. But speaking of these kids in the car who got towed, this is 30 years ago, if not more. 2 of my buddies went to a big beer party in the wintertime, and a lot of cars in the driveway, and one of the cars was running. And they knew everybody's cars, and it was a And they said, oh, that's Donna's new car, this gal that we knew. She got this new race car looking thing. So they, just to be cute, just to be funny, they jumped in the car and took her for a joyride while Donna was inside the party. And they're racing around like crazy. And after about 5 minutes, they heard a baby crying in the back. She had her baby in the back, and they didn't know it.
Oh, boy.
And they were joyriding like animals all over the city.
Ooh. Oh, no.
Yeah, she left her kid in the car to go in and and there was a baby crying. We were 21, 22 years old. These guys didn't know what the hell's a baby doing back there.
An alleged drug dealer in Pennsylvania named Alan Phelan Jr. was arrested Friday, and the person who tipped them off was Alan Phelan Jr. The 46-year-old called police to his apartment about 1 a.m. Friday, saying his apartment had been burglarized. But instead of finding a break-in, police found $25,000 worth of fentanyl and other drugs. According to the criminal complaint, Phelan claimed someone broke into his apartment by breaking his window. However, police said there was no signs that anyone got into the apartment. And when asked if he knew anything was missing, he took police inside. Police didn't find anything missing, but they did find 47 grams of fentanyl, 71 packages of it valued at $25,000. They also found 13 grams of meth, 20 grams of marijuana, 9 Suboxone strips valued at $400, 12 clonazepam valued at $150. I love that Ashley knows all these drugs.
Clonazepam is used for anxiety. I was on it for a little bit.
Oh,
Good
really?
stuff, yeah.
Police noted they also found an electronic scale, various sized baggies, multiple smoking devices, and small glass vials with twist tops. It was also noted he has a previous possession charge with intent to deliver.
It's just a little bit of everything, really. He hit the spectrum.
He just left it all sitting out there and the cops found it. St. Cloud State University is offering new online certificate programs in cannabis education starting this fall. This comes after Minnesota recently, of course, became the 23rd state to legalize it. The SCSU programs are the first of their kind in Minnesota, but similar programs are offered in Illinois, Michigan, and other states. The 4 programs are in cannabis agriculture and horticulture, cannabis healthcare and medicine, cannabis compliance and risk management, and the business of cannabis. Each program takes about 6 months to complete, with the coursework fully online. They know their clientele.
Yeah, last week when we had that story about how it's now legal to just have an open beer container in Anoka, we're like, yeah, that just makes sense. St. Cloud being the first school to have a weed program just makes sense.
Anybody here going to enroll? Wapple, how about you?
I would, but St. Cloud.
I just said it's all online.
Yeah, but it's St. Cloud.
You don't even want to be associated?
Yeah, I can't be.
Understandable.
I'm a U of M fan.
Minnesota's Mr. Hockey in 1991. An original member of the Minnesota Wild, Darby Hendrickson, currently an assistant coach with the team, 51 today.
Are you kidding me?
He's 51. He still looks 21. Jack Black, 54, Stifler's mom in the American Pie movies, Jennifer Coolidge, now starring in HBO's White Lotus, 62. Daniel Stern, Joe Pesci's bumbling partner in Home Alone, among many other credits. Funny dude. He's great at voiceovers, too. He's 66. Congratulations to Pancakes by the Lake Jesus. He got a new gig. Happy birthday to Miley, turning the big 09 today from Dad CF Feed Haulin' Jesus. And that's 93X News.
Bighorn. Visit your Ram dealer today. Not compatible with any other offer. 2.9% APR financing for 72 months equals $1,515 per month per 1,000 financed for well-qualified buyers through Chrysler Capital, regardless of down payment. Not all buyers will qualify. Contact dealer for details. Take retail delivery by 9/5.
You're listening to the 93X Half-Ass Morning Show. Traffic is sponsored by Taco John's.
Taco John's has the best deal. For a limited time, you can get the fan favorite 6-pack at a pound for $2 off the regular menu price. That's 6 delicious crispy beef or soft shell tacos and a pound of their famous potato olays for $2 off. But hurry, this deal expires soon. Taco John's, bigger, bolder, better. Download the app for other great offers.
There's a crash in Roseville, Snelling Avenue northbound at County Road B, and it's slow in St. Paul, Highway 61 westbound between Burns Avenue and 94. That's your traffic. This is 93X.
Traffic's also sponsored by Family Dollar.
Falling back into routine can be stressful. That's why Family Dollar has more to help you stay ahead of the class. Stock your pantry and save with snack time favorites like cereal, cookies, crackers, and Tyson frozen chicken. Family Dollar, helping you do more.
93X Sports and More with Carol Evans, Randy Shaver is sponsored by Chris Lindahl Real Estate.
If you drive down any highway, byway, or roadway, you're likely to see a Chris Lindahl Real Estate billboard. His face is everywhere because he's a man totally unencumbered by modesty. No doubt he's the best realtor in town, and that's why I used him. But you're probably sick and tired of those billboards. Yep, we all are. But what if every time you drove by a Chris Lindahl Real Estate billboard, something good happened, like making a game out of it? Maybe hop on a party bus and take a drink every time you pass that stupid face of his. I bet beer goggles make Lindahl's face easier to stomach anyway. Or since Lindahl's motto is to be generous, maybe be a hero and do one good deed for every Lindahl billboard you see today. I think a good deed would be to replace his billboards with something more likable, like a tax audit or a root canal. As a realtor, you'll love having Chris Lindahl by your side. But as a billboard model, Chris, give it a rest. The Lindahl Billboard Games are underway. Call 763-401-SOLD or go to chrislindahl.com and get your free, no-obligation guaranteed cash offer. Terms and conditions apply.
Care 11's Randy Shaver.
24/7, he's nude in his unit, but for 10 to 15 minutes a day, he will go near the windows and he will expose himself and touch himself.
On the Half-Assed Morning Show.
Hard shot to third. Arrows to second one. Mendick on to first for the double play. And starting the 5-4-3 double play to end the inning. The Mets have no idea how many outs there are.
Hey, that's funny. The Mets lost track of how many outs they had in the sixth inning while the Angels were batting. The Mets and Angels had a series over the weekend. They had one out already. They turned to double play, and nobody comes off the field.
That was pretty good.
They started throwing the ball around the infield as if the inning was continuing. There you heard their play-by-play man, Gary Cohen. They have no idea how many outs there are. Whoever was pitching for the Mets kind of looked around and said, fellas, the inning is over.
Yeah, we're done.
Stop playing around with the... Took about 10 seconds for them to... Their season's been kind of a disaster. Randy Shaver and Brad Ryder, funny running into you clowns in a place like this, huh?
Yes.
Yes. Good morning.
What's going on? Tell me all about your weekends.
Well, it was nice and quiet. It was relaxing. And it was capped off by a fun Twins game to watch yesterday.
Man.
You had
to be patient with that one.
What a disaster for the Rangers. Good Lord. I mean, I don't know if I've ever seen a pitcher walk three guys in extra innings and then lose the game. You could tell he was going to throw ball 3 and 4. He had no confidence in himself throwing the ball across the plate.
Well, I was saying earlier.
You knew he was in trouble when he walked Gallo because Gallo, he's hit 20 home runs, but I think I saw the stat. He's only driven in 37, so it wasn't like he was going to come up and hit one up the middle there. So you knew he was in trouble when he walked him.
He had to be patient to stick with all of yesterday's Twins game, but with a little luck, they win 7-6, so they took 3 of 4. Texas is in real trouble, but I was watching the game yesterday. Obviously, you guys were too. That kid, what was his name? Hernandez, who won everybody and their mother there in the bottom of the 13th. He had no business being in there in the first place. The Rangers were out of live human beings. The Twins were out of live. I think Dick Bramer said, this guy's ERA is ridiculous, and he's got control problems. The poor guy shouldn't even been put in that position. But, well, hell, look at Saturday night's Twins game was damn near the ending for the Twins on Saturday was about as ugly as the ending for the Rangers yesterday.
True.
So they both had some brutal closes to ball games. Texas had a 5-0 lead. Somebody or another on their club hit a grand slam. Royce Lewis comes back with his own grand slam. This kid is where it's at. There's no question about it, Royce Lewis.
I think as a Twins fan, you have to be excited because you look at what this team might look like 3 years down the road with Brooks Lee and Walker and Royce Lewis. And there's a lot of offensive potential that is coming up through the minor league system for the Twins. And it's just a matter of finding some more young pitching. This team seems to be in pretty good shape, and they're going to have playoff experience because it looks like they're going to find their way into the playoffs this year. So I mean, I think if you look at where this team is heading, where the franchise is heading, it's pretty exciting.
Yeah. Yeah, things are looking good. Good for Dylan Floro and Dallas Keuchel to have nice outings yesterday.
Keuchel was great.
The 7-foot-tall pitcher, what the hell's his name again? Somebody help me.
Haley Ober.
Ober didn't have his finest outing, and Floro had been teed off on pretty solidly by the Rangers the night prior. And I'm not trying to pick on Carlos Correa. I'm not going to be the 1 billionth Twins fan in town to pick on Carlos Correa because of the cheating thing and because he makes so much money. I've put that in my rearview mirror as a fan. But, part of the fun of watching a Twins game this year has been, will Carlos Correa hit into another damn double play?
It's comical.
I mean, and he had an extra inning situation yesterday where he hit into a double play. God, that's got to suck. His 26th double play he hit into yesterday. That's got to lead everybody in Major League Baseball.
Man.
I think so.
If it doesn't, I'd be shocked.
And this could end up being a playoff preview, what we saw these 4 games this weekend, now that Texas is sliding so much. And, if Houston or Seattle take them over, they could be in that wild card spot, and that could be what you're looking at for that 3-game series in October, that wild card series.
We need guys like you, Brad Ryder, who can do arithmetic and check out the standings like that. I hear you on them. No, seriously, that could be something we're looking at in a month. Tonight, they start up a 3-game series with Cleveland, who's their closest competition in the division. Obviously, there's a 6-game cushion between the two of them. Kente Maeda tonight, 6:40 on, Bally Sports. From what I understand, the Guardians will be using all rookie starting pitchers for this series.
And Carlos Correa does lead the league with 26 ground and double plays.
He's got to be going nuts over that.
Up by 2 over a guy named Ty France from Seattle. Nobody else has even 20.
Yep. Sure, Ty France. All rookie starters for Cleveland.
And that's the difference between Cleveland this year and Cleveland last year. Last year, Cleveland in early August took the lead from the Twins, and their starting pitching staff was a veteran group that, had a really solid season. This year, they've had so many injuries that they've had to have rookies in their starting rotation and be, pretty much half the season at least with these guys.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that's the difference between the Twins and the Cleveland Guardians from a year ago.
This is funny.
No doubt.
A listener was listening to yesterday's Twins game on the radio with Corey Provis and Dan Gladden, and he said Dan Gladden was very funny in calling the walk-off win for the Twins when that Hernandez kid was on the mound struggling so bad. Apparently, according to this listener, Dan Gladden said, "This guy is cooked. He doesn't have a chance." Yeah, the kid did look hopeless, and
he did.
He kind of knew, I am not built for this right now. Okay, boys, remember last week, Bleacher Report had an article about every big league franchise's Mount Rushmore of hitters since 1980. And I asked you guys to tell me who you thought the Twins' Mount Rushmore of hitters since 1980 would be. And I think you got it right. It was Puckett. It was Herbeck. It was, now I'm forgetting.
Mauer.
Torrey Hunter and Joe Mauer, yes.
Right.
Now they've put together, Bleacher Report has, every big league franchise's Mount Rushmore of pitchers since 1980. Would you like to try and name those 4 pitchers? Go ahead, Randy Shaver, Brad Ryder.
Well,
Frank Viola's got to be one.
Frank Viola is one.
I would say Santana.
Johan Santana is another.
How about Francisco Liriano?
No!
No. Brad Radke.
Brad Radke, absolutely. Brad Radke, it says here, is the franchise leader since 1980 in wins, strikeouts, and innings pitched. He was a friggin' horse. There's one more. One more. Keep in mind.
Joe Nathan.
Yes, it is Joe Nathan.
No.
I was just going to say, keep in mind, it doesn't have to be a starter.
Yeah, I was just going to ask.
The Mount Rushmore of pitchers for the Twins since 1980: Frank Viola, Johan Santana, Brad Radke, and Joe Namath.
Yeah.
There's Radke. Sweating it out. Remember how Radke used to do it? For Christ's sake, I gave up 3 runs in the first.
Yeah.
And then he'd shut everything down from there.
I was at a game. True. It was opening day, like, I don't know, 97, 98, and we're all fired up, like 13, 14 years old. Where, it's opening first pitch. The whole dome is going crazy, Very first pitch, just moonshot into the upper deck. And then everyone's like, oh, yeah, all right, same old Twins. Sit back down, everybody.
Radke would always have a little trouble in the first frame, and then he'd say, F this, I'm going to go out there and shut the bastards out for the rest of my duration. I remember something from a home opener. What was Paul Molitor's first year with the Twins? 97, 5, 4?
Like
It was mid-90s.
Yeah, mid-90s.
Right.
Can't remember exactly. And the Twins were not a good ball club back then. And me and my buddy went off to the old Metrodome for the home opener. What was the year?
96 to 98.
96 was his first summer here. Okay. So my buddy and I are sitting at the old Metrodome, and it was home opener. It wasn't the biggest crowd because they just weren't a very good ball club. And the Bob Casey was ripping through the lineup for the Twins, leading off number 25, Rich Becker. I don't know who the hell was. And they got to the cleanup spot, and Casey says, and designated hitter, Paul Molitor. And my buddy says, when the hell did the Twins get Paul Molitor? That's how dialed in some people were, because they just weren't very good. Honorable mention for this Twins Mount Rushmore of pitchers since 1980. Honorable mention goes to Rick, as Jack Buck would say it, Rick Aguilera, Scott Erickson, Everyday Eddie Guardado, Glenn Perkins, and one of my favorites of all time, and I know someone that you have a great amount of respect for, Randy Shaver, Kevin By God Tapani.
Yeah, he was a workhorse.
What a terrific pitcher Kevin Tapani was for that ball club. Yeah. What is this? 2 women got shot at the White Sox game on Friday night?
What happened?
Oh. Can we not?
Yeah, I tried to watch this video. You can't make it out from the White Sox or from the official White Sox camera. It's hard to tell.
Their lives are miserable enough. They're at a White Sox game. And then you got to make it worse by they got shot.
Maybe they welcomed it.
I know.
Yeah, that's a good point, Josh. We were like,
just put us out of our misery.
Get me to the hospital so I can get out of here.
Jesus. Every corner you turn nowadays, somebody's shooting somebody. We can't even have a little bit of a break at the ball game. 42-year-old woman's and a 26-year-old woman's were not terribly wounded, but they got hit by bullets at the stinking White Sox game Friday night. Folks don't know if they were fired inside or outside the stadium. Don't know what the hell happened here.
Huh.
One of the women went to the hospital. The other one refused to go to it was just one woman got grazed in the, where was this? One got shot in the leg. The other one sustained a graze wound to the abdomen.
Still think I'm going to the hospital for that.
This is friggin' madness.
Were they sitting next to each other?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah.
And one of them, they found a bullet in her hoodie. It just ended up kind of getting stuck in her hoodie.
Oh, I missed that part. Good.
Oh, man.
So they're saying, you got to pass through a metal detector to go watch the ball game there at the White Sox home park. So they don't know. They don't know how a firearm would have gotten inside the park. Possibly it was stray bullets from outside the stadium.
Yeah.
That's insane. Good.
That is insane. And they're very lucky.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that? You got a fistful of popcorn watching really bad baseball, and what was that? Did an insect just bite me? No, I got shot in the friggin' leg. And you know what else sucked about this whole thing? A post-game concert starring Vanilla Ice had to be canceled.
Oh, that's too bad.
The game continued, but for some reason, I guess they were looking for a reason to tell Vanilla Ice to go home.
Yeah, is that what it is? Now's our time.
He did halftime at the Wolves game. I had a lot of fun. It was cool.
Oh, I saw him halftime at the Wolves game.
That's an annual thing now down there.
Yeah, I feel like it is.
When Brad Ryder was working for the Wolves, they brought in all the late 80s and early 90s hip-hop stars. They had Vanilla Ice. They had Biz Marquee, who barely made it through his 10-minute show.
Naughty by Nature.
Naughty by Nature was there. Who was the group that said, "Come on, ride the train"? We ride
it. Uh-huh.
Yep, that one.
It was like the
Squad
Emerald,
Squad City DJs.
Yeah.
Quad City I can't remember.
Squad City DJs.
Quad.
Who else did we? The Time was there.
Oh, sweet.
Morris Day. Sheila E. We had Sheila E. down there.
I know I'm missing somebody else that I just went buck wild for.
Hey, wasn't Boys to Men in town yesterday at the State Fair?
Yeah, they were.
What?
They're the ones that. Yeah, they played last night.
Boys to Men, really? Oh, I remember one night during this time period where the Timberwolves were getting all the hip hop stars in the mix. It was he sang the song. This is how we do it. Everybody going to the party. This is
Montel Jordan.
Montel Jordan, right? So I'm sitting with my buddies Doug and Vinny, and here comes this Montel Jordan out onto the floor, and I was aware of that song. I knew that was a big song, and so he starts up that song. This is how we do it, and I'm focused on the show. And I look to my right, and my buddies Doug and Vinny know every single word to that song, and they're dancing their asses off. I said, "What the hell is it?"
I remember one.
So you're forgetting two of the bigger ones. The first one was Ja Rule, and then after he did that, he placed a curse on the Timberwolves. Remember that?
Yes, I do.
That's true.
Yes, I do. I missed Ja Rule. Who was the other one?
Well, your favorite, I know it's not a hip-hop act, but Red Panda, your favorite.
Oh, Red Panda. Oh, she's the greatest entertainer of our time. I would never forget about her. Why are you throwing her in with these other people?
Well, I don't know, just because she's better than these other
God,
people.
she's better than anybody I've ever seen at any halftime show, aside from the Chihuahua that would walk on basketballs.
Oh, that's cool. Brad, I remember a time the rapper Nelly was at a game, and I was like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
Nelly's going to be doing the halftime show. No, he was just there to check out a Tuesday night Wolves-Detroit game or something. You're just there to take in a basketball game. I thought it was so random.
Not performing.
Did you guys ever see the Chihuahua that would walk across the court on basketballs?
No.
Adorable, but I have to say, and maybe this is just a trait of your common Chihuahua, but he looked terrified.
They all look terrified.
He was so scared. But anyway,
How many basketballs was it? Was it like the whole court?
Remember, we had little John there before the Super Bowl that year too.
I don't know.
Came in and did that.
What does it mean to be Little John? I don't know him.
I know you're familiar with them.
Yeah.
Lil John, L-I-L John,
Lil
not
John.
little.
Oh,
Little
turned
John.
down for what?
Yep.
You'd have to play it for me and put a Chihuahua on a basketball, and maybe then I would. I forgot one other who also looked very tired and in poor health. I'm sorry to say, Tone Loc.
Oh yeah, yep.
Tone Loc came out and he just did not look good, and it was kind of like seeing Vince Neil in concert, where the crowd had to do most of the singing. Because he didn't have the oxygen to.
That's too bad. They just wanted to go see Wild Thing and Funky Cold Medina, and they were the ones singing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember the night we had Little John. It was, like I said, it was Super Bowl week, and there were a lot of other celebrities in town, and a lot of other celebrities sitting courtside. And you look down courtside that night, and Sting is sitting there. So Little John is playing at halftime, but Sting is watching it, and you feel like going up to Sting and saying, "Hey, you want to switch places with Little John for a little while?"
Kidding. I mean, Darby Allin was there and everything. It's Sting.
Yeah.
Sting from the Police.
Yeah,
that would have. Wrestler. He is a wildly talented guy.
Definitely.
An ex-girlfriend of mine once met Tone Loc at a bar in Apple Valley. Speaking of what, right?
That's random.
Ja Rule was at the Wolves game. What the hell's Tone Loc doing at a bar in Apple Valley? He was doing a show down there at some club or something. And this ex-girlfriend, maybe he had to be there, but my ex-girlfriend walked up and said, "Hey," there were a lot of people meeting Tone Loc that night. And she walked up and said, "Hey, Tone Loc." And he said, "You look like my future ex-wife."
Oh.
Speaking of the Chicago White Sox game, how about that guy that made the backhanded grab while holding a bucket of nachos over the weekend?
Pretty impressive.
Yeah.
That's up on 93x.com.
Look at this video. Guy's in the outfield at the White Sox game. Somebody blasts a home run into the stands. He's got nachos, a bucket of nachos in his left hand, and he makes a backhanded, right-handed catch of a baseball that was going 103.8 miles per hour.
High in the air, left center field, and finally out of the reach of Luis Robert Jr.
So he's got the nachos in the left hand. He reaches up with the right hand and makes the catch, and nary a nacho was disturbed.
That's my kind of guy right there.
Really, honestly, he never spilled a single chip. You should see this video. He's a terrific athlete, this guy.
Might be kind of mean to say, but I do kind of like when you see somebody's nachos just explode on them via foul ball.
Oh, yeah. There is some humor there.
Beer and nachos everywhere. You're like, oh, that's $30 that guy's not getting back.
Yeah, but I think the crazier part of that video is I think that was an Oakland A that hit a home run.
Yeah.
Even more rare than the chips not falling.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was. It was a member of the Athletics. Oh, wow. Father of Seven Jesus. Wow, we got some listeners who have great memories. Was it KG's return to the Wolves home game when Montel Jordan played? I don't think so. I don't think so. I remember, of course, everything about KG's first game back with the Wolves. I cried like a child, but I don't think that was the night Montel was there. Could be wrong. One of the new bits going around Big League Baseball is the scoreboard crew making jokes on the Jumbotron, right?
I like it.
Yeah.
The Met scoreboard people, you guys probably like this. I've had enough of the bit, but the Met scoreboard people made a joke during Friday's game against the Los Angeles Angels. Designated hitter DJ Stewart was up to the plate, so the scoreboard operators put his picture up there, and they decided to dump a 69 joke on everybody. Next to the picture of DJ Stewart, it read, DJ has had a nice 69 at-bats as a New York Met.
Did I tell you guys I picked up a gig working the New York Mets scoreboard on the weekends?
I wouldn't be surprised.
You're overqualified.
They're like, no, you're too good. We can't have someone like you on the board.
I love this. A young kid and his family were thrown out the ballpark in Arizona because the young kid interfered with a home run ball. That is so cold-blooded. I love it.
Holds this time, Tommy Pham. It's a high fly ball to left field. Spencer Steer at the wall. It's gone. Spencer Steer nearly robbed that one, but they may want to check about fan interference. Here comes David Bell.
Ooh, he's got it, and then he doesn't got it.
The batter is out. There's no home run. Spectator interference.
Yeah, spectator interference, and they threw the kid and his family out the ballpark, told him not to come back.
That's up on 93x.com.
That's too bad. Kid
No.
brings his glove to the ballpark.
No, he should have behaved himself.
I know.
He reached.
Oh.
He did. He reached over that wall.
I'm with you, Waffle.
Tell you what, he made a great catch. Give him credit.
He did. He got in the way of a home run. Turned out to be an out.
I did see a couple articles praising the athleticism of that kid and the strength he must have had to steal that ball.
Yeah.
Yeah, really.
It is kind of funny that while they were walking this kid and his family out the ballpark, the crowd was chanting MVP at him.
That's cool. Hopefully that made him feel better because I bet he felt awful.
Or maybe he was like the kids in South Park, that episode where they hate baseball and just want the season to be over. Maybe he was just looking for a reason to get kicked out of the game. Didn't want to be there anymore. Yeah.
Oh, true.
This is great. Okay, Damon has texted our program. It was Bogart's place in Apple Valley that used to bring in acts. Tone Loc was one of them. Coolio was the other. Josh, didn't your old lady used to work at Bogart's place?
Yep, I was going to guess that's where you were talking about.
I've done some things I'm not proud of at Bogart's.
Oh, I think a lot of people have.
Yeah, I'm not alone on that.
We used to do a lot of gigs down there.
That place would get hopping.
I used to gig with all the local terrific cover bands like Touched. God, those guys were effing good. Touched, Gemini. Who am I missing? Slow Children. God dang, we had some fun down there.
TOA, Green Onion Band, all the favorites.
Yeah. TOA brought in all the chicks. Oh, I don't care about the Yankees. They suck. I don't care. Well, this is kind of funny, though. This is kind of funny. So the Yankees, they suck, and it's a beautiful thing. We don't get this pleasure often enough. They had some gangbang out in the field where they had a couple of errors. Who cares? But I thought it was funny. Somebody tweeted about this poor play in general of the New York Yankees this season. This is the best tweet that I saw on the topic. It said, Yankees fans are counting down the days until the Cowboys kick off their regular season. If you know what they mean by that, that's very funny. All right. Here it is, boys. This will put a lid on this gimmick for the upcoming football season. It's the Minnesota Vikings edition
Yes.
of Drew McGarry's Why Your Team Sucks season preview. From defector.com, Ski. If you don't know the bit, a writer named Drew McGarry, who is from Minnesota, don't you know?
Right.
He writes up a very mean-spirited and sarcastic season preview for every NFL ball club. We've done the Packers for obvious reasons. We did the New York Jets because it's the new home of the gas bag. We couldn't resist that. Now it's time to destroy the Minnesota Vikings. I'll try and throw some of the highlights of the article at you without going too long, but sometimes this stuff is so perfectly mean and hilarious, I can't stop myself. Well, maybe it won't be so bad. We'll see. Drew McGarry, the Minnesota Vikings edition of the Why Your Team Sucks season preview. He mentions last year's club, a 13-4 record last season. Biggest party in the NFL. I effing loved this team. They cruised to a division title by staging miracle win after miracle win. They came back from 17 down in Buffalo thanks to the greatest catch I've ever seen. They came back from 33 down against Indianapolis in the largest comeback in NFL history. I've never enjoyed a Vikings team as much as this one. But the 2022 Vikings were the worst 13-win team in NFL history, beating their opponents by a fearsome 0.2 points per game. Every win was sheer happenstance. They only won that Buffalo game because Josh Allen played like an idiot. They only mounted that comeback against Indianapolis because a Radio Row guest was head coach of the Colts at the time. Every other win that these Vikings notched against teams that were underwhelming. Okay, I got to do that over again. Every other win that these Vikings notched came against teams that were underwhelming. Gotcha. As underwhelming as they themselves would prove to be. Every loss, on the other hand, was a definitive rout. Right after that incredible victory against the Bills, Dallas annihilated them 40-3, the worst Vikings home loss in nearly 60 years.
Yes.
Everyone was right about this team. Everyone is always right about this team. If the Packers had just had that exact season, Vikings fans would have had the point differential shaved into their effing temple. Kevin O'Connor is a good coach. I can already tell that he knows that Kirk Cousins is a head case and he can't wait to get a new quarterback he doesn't have to babysit all game long. Yes, Kirk Cousins is still here for one more year. But he does say the 2022 season gave me a newfound respect for Kurt, and the Netflix series only deepened it. This is a decent, hardworking, thoughtful, and objectively tough man. He's also dorky in a genuine, almost lovable way. I've wanted Kirk gone for years, but I already know that I'll probably miss him once he's elsewhere. But do you remember what happened when the season was on the line? I'll tell you what happened. Kurt curled up into an effing ball the way he always does and always will. No, I didn't see the show, but you guys tell me. Drew McGarry says, remember his little trophy room in the Netflix series Quarterback, where he had an alcove installed specifically so that he could put a Lombardi trophy in it? Remember how sad he looked staring at that alcove?
No.
You know he's never getting a trophy to put in there, and you know that he knows it. Kurt isn't good enough, and now he's getting old. No amount of hard work and house calls from the chiropractor will change that. Kurt knows this is his last year as a franchise guy for any team. And guess who's behind Kurt this season? That's right, nobody. Yes, he goes unchallenged as the starter for the millionth straight year, with Nick Mullins manning a clipboard and a third stringer eating paste over in the corner. The reason this team failed a year ago, failed is how you say it, the reason this team failed a year ago was because they got killed on the line of scrimmage when it mattered. Nothing about that has changed. This roster is worse than last year. Pick any position group and it's one injury away from being effed. New wide receiver Jordan Addison got pinched for driving 140 miles per hour, so if injuries don't get him, his idiocy will. Justin Jefferson isn't going to sign an extension. The only people who go to Minnesota and stay there are effing weird.
Starting to feel bad about myself here.
Yeah.
The worst fans you'll ever meet are Vikings fans. This team has won plenty over the decades and employed some of the dopest players ever to play the game. Do these fans appreciate any of it? No. All they want to do is piss and moan. F Brad Childress.
Can't disagree with that.
But then to close things out, he goes this way. Drew McGarry says, O'Connor is top shelf. Jefferson is a god. Addison will be a star instantly. The offense is going to be effing bananas. And defensive coordinator Brian Flores will get the best out of his defense, even if he has to suit himself up to do it. Undrafted free agent linebacker Ivan Pace is so legit, I can hardly stand it. The division is a cupcake factory, and so is the rest of the NFC. We're winning the Super Bowl, and then we're letting Kurt walk away. F the numbers, F reality, and F you, Skull.
All right, he brought us back there.
Yeah. That made me feel better.
F reality.
There's even more fun to be had here because when Drew McGarry is done writing his biting season previews, he always includes comments from Vikings fans who can be just as evil and angry. You want to hear a few of the fans' comments?
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
My dog died the night before the Buffalo game. I may or may not have pointed to the sky and thanked her for divinely helping the Vikings beat the Bills. I had to put down my cat the morning of the Colts game. I may or may not have pointed to the sky and thanked her for divinely aiding the Vikings in their amazing comeback. Unfortunately, none of my surviving pets died before the playoff game against the Giants.
I bet this guy thought about maybe sacrificing one.
Oh, for sure. The night before, he's like, come on.
Yeah.
Here's a guy, speaking of that Giants playoff game, here's a guy who says, we lost a home playoff game to New York's version of Christian Ponder. Other comments from fans, I'm going to knock over Kirk Cousins' mortality vase.
Oh, no. Don't do that to him.
He just comes home, all the rocks are gone.
He'd be so sad.
We have the most exciting wide receiver since Randy Moss, and some goober is throwing the football to him. The worst thing about your star player having a signature dance is that the opposing defense gets to do it when they humiliate us.
That's so true. That sucks.
I will go to my grave believing the Giants stole the radio transmissions from the Vikings headsets in the 2000 NFC Championship game. I'm writing this email, says another Vikings fan. I'm writing this email to distract myself while my wife is in surgery. And yet I am sure that these 3.5 hours spent wondering if she will live or die will be much more pleasant than any 3.5 hours I spent watching the Vikings this fall.
Oh, my God. Good God.
He goes on to say, everything went well. I showed her this when she woke up and she thought it was funny, so I sent it in. And finally, one more comment from a Vikings fan. Taylor Swift played at U.S. Bank Stadium 2 nights this summer. Multiple people said it was louder than any Vikings game, and whoa, boy, Vikings Twitter did not take that well.
God, they got pissy.
You would have thought that someone spit on their mother's grave. Vikings fans are the most emotionally infantile group in the state by far. Infantile? Did I say that right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Sounded right.
Yeah, sure. I think so.
I know a lot of folks here in town like to masturbate over how quirky that Kirk Cousins is. So what did you think of his oh-so-hilarious new mustache?
I like
love it,
It's
actually.
pretty cool.
I was thinking of doing that.
Oh, yeah. He's going to kill it this year just because of that.
I'm going to cave. All the young people are growing mustaches.
Well, you know,
now.
Do it, Josh.
No, don't do it like the young people are doing it. It's already old as hell.
I bet it doesn't last the whole season. I bet he shaves it off before the end of the season.
Well, it was mustache week. It could be gone already. It was mustache week with the Vikings.
Oh, there was mustache week?
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Don't do it like the kids are doing it with the ha-ha, I look like the guy from Top Gun gimmick. It's already been killed. Josh, years ago, you and I grew handlebar mustaches for Movember. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
You look dynamite in a handlebar mustache. You really do.
Well, that's what my son wants me to, my stepson, he wants me to get one.
So don't do what the 20-year-olds are doing.
Handlebar?
Letter buck, James Hetfield, Hulk Hogan style handlebar. And, oh, man, you knocked that gimmick dead.
If I do it, Ashley, same thing, will you do it?
Absolutely, of course.
Oh.
I agree with him. I think that people are going to miss Kirk Cousins when he's gone.
I will. I like him a lot. I like his personality.
Not this guy.
Fauché Maintenance Jesus said if Kirk really does win the Vikes a Super Bowl, Vikings fans will finally have something in common with Packers fans. They'll be kissing Cousins.
That's a good line.
That's good.
Speaking of quarterbacks, the San Francisco 49ers traded that Trey Lance dude to the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
So I know there was talk of him possibly coming here, and then no, that's not going to happen.
No.
Sounds like the Vikings made no effort whatsoever in that.
Well,
They did not.
that's how she goes sometimes. The governor of Nevada wants AC/DC to play this year's Super Bowl halftime show. That's where the game's going to be played, at that new ballpark.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
In Vegas.
Governor Joe Lombardo is the name he goes with. He says he wants Angus Young and the boys.
I mean, how many more opportunities will you have? That'd be great.
No, I mean, they're playing a series of shows now again this fall. They haven't played any live shows in, 6-7 years?
Yeah, they've got a festival tour coming up in October.
Has it been?
It's a couple nights.
Has it been that long? Or maybe it's just been that long since Brian Johnson has been with the band, because they had Axl Rose horsing around in the band for a while. It's been a long time.
I think they're announcing a 2024 tour shortly.
Ooh, I'll be damned. Only 2 Super Bowl halftime show performers have come even remotely close to being hard rock. And that would be The Who in 2010 and stupid-ass Aerosmith in 2001. Let's get a hard rock band up there.
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
Kind of surprising, like a Metallica hasn't done it. You know, they're embraced by everybody.
Yeah,
it seems like.
so big.
Dee Snider, if you remember, legendary lead singer of Twisted Sister. By the way, Josh, I watched the first 2 episodes of that I Wanna Rock documentary.
Oh, yeah. What do you think?
It's wonderful.
Kip Winger, right? How awesome is that guy? And obviously, we all know Dee is.
Dee Snider is such a effing brilliant guy.
He is brilliant.
And Kip Winger is just one of the most likable guys you'll ever encounter in your life.
I totally
and he's
agree.
so smart and so talented, doesn't get even an eighth of the friggin' credit that guy deserves. He and Reb Beach, your favorite band can't carry those friggin' guys' jockstrap.
No, not at all.
Give me an effing break.
And John Corabi, I learned a lot about John. I didn't know much about him. It was kind of interesting. And the
Also,
relationship he had with his dad.
Very likable guy. So Dee Snider slammed the NFL a few years ago, saying, and this is a good point, week after week, rock is the go-to music during your games, NFL, but we get no respect when it comes to the Super Bowl. He says, I don't think I'm popular enough for that gig, but maybe Metallica.
I think part of the reason why some acts don't want to do it is the NFL does not pay for the halftime act for the Super Bowl. Never has.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, it's Brad, I think, isn't it a little too much of a coincidence that it's all hard rock bands?
I understand.
I think so, yeah.
I mean, and Dee's right. You go to a ball game, you hear Metallica, Ozzy, Guns N' Roses, all that stuff.
It's pump-up music.
I say, on the topic of AC/DC playing the halftime show, I say, let there be light, sound, drums, and guitar. Let there be. AC/DC fans know what I'm talking about. Is Kevin Hart still in a wheelchair?
I don't know if that was legit or not.
Wait, hold up.
Did you hear about that, Randy?
blew out his leg, right?
Yeah. I heard it was his
Yeah,
abdominals.
abs. Took
Oh,
his
his abs?
Yeah.
Is Kevin Hart still in a wheelchair? Here's what happened. He's got a buddy that used to play in the NFL, and the guy's name is Stephen Ridley, a former running back.
Sure, running back.
Mm-hmm.
And they're at a beer party or something, Kevin Hart, the comic, and this Stephen Ridley, and Kevin Hart foolishly challenged Stephen Ridley to a foot race. And so they raced, on the sidewalk or something out front this beer party. And Kevin Hart tore his ab muscles up so badly he was in a wheelchair.
Ladies and gentlemen, the age 40 is real. Respect that age. And I don't want you to be alarmed, but I'm in a wheelchair. Why? Well, because I tried to jump out there and do some young stuff. Me and Steven, we got into a little debate. This debate was based off of who was faster. Those that know me know I'm pretty fast. Steven said, Kev, ain't no way you're going to beat me. Steven is an ex-NFL running back, played for the New England Patriots. I said, Steve, you can bet it. He said, bet. I said, bet. We get out there, we go run the 40-year-old dash. Tore my lower abdomen. My abductors are torn. I don't even know what that is, but I tore them. I can't walk. This is 44. Why did I even race? What was I thinking, son? Got to be the stupidest man alive.
I mentioned this before. His new special, Kevin Hart's new special on Peacock, called Reality Check. It's one of the best comedy specials I've seen in a very long time.
I agree. It's so good.
I was in tears a few times.
Same here.
Nick, you should watch that. I think you'd really like it.
I'll give it a shot. Damn, he pulled his abs loose.
God, really, that's bizarre when normally at that age you're going to pull your hamstring. That's the first thing that's going to pop. I mean, really, without any sort of warm-up or anything, that's normally what happens, is that you will pull your hammy so bad that you can't even walk.
His abs exploded on his insides. Oh, that's not good. I suppose before we get out of here, a couple more quick notes. This was kind of funny. Do we have the video up on our website of that college football ref taking a football right to his face?
Yes. Oh, yes.
That's funny.
Ouch.
That looked painful.
They're playing college football again now.
Yeah, they started this weekend.
Saturday evening, they had a game between, oh man, how did I miss this one? San Diego State and Ohio University.
Oh.
And the quarterback for San Diego State, he was flushed out of the pocket. He was in big trouble, about ready to get sacked. He just threw the ball just to get rid of it, and he hit the referee square in the side of his face. Oh, it's hilarious. And that crash in the NASCAR race. I know we don't talk a lot of NASCAR.
Ryan Priest.
How did he
He
survive?
is so lucky. Oh, my God.
We don't talk much NASCAR around here. It just doesn't grab me the way it used to. But this kid, Ryan Priest, he flipped his car ass over apple cart 10 times or so Saturday night. Jesus Christ. But I didn't... how is he doing? What's going on with him?
They released him already. He's out of the hospital.
Yeah, again, it just goes to show you the incredible safety they have in those cars. Sometimes when you watch it on TV, you just don't get the feel as to how fast they really are going, right? It's just really hard to gauge the speed. But when something like that happens where they lose control and the air lifts them up off the ground like it did, now you get a sense of really, truly how fast they're going. That was insane.
Yeah, it's just...
Insane.
There were a couple bad wrecks, but I guess that's Daytona for you. But holy balls did this guy go. Kitty Wampus.
How fast they go and how close they are to each other. I mean, good grief.
It's amazing.
They're
It
within
really is.
inches of each other all the time.
Right. Just amazing.
Oh, and Kurt Busch is retiring from driving? That's got to leave NASCAR fans pretty heartbroken.
Yeah, not really.
I never had a problem with Kurt and Kyle Busch.
I
but
didn't either.
Everybody hated their friggin' guts. He won a lot of races. Good for him. He had a great career. Phew. All right, boys, that ought to do her. Thanks, Brad Ryder.
You're welcome.
We'll talk to you on Wednesday. Randy, we'll talk to you tomorrow.
Sounds good.
We'll be back before you know it on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
There's a douchiness to them. The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Hey Minnesota, CJ Ham here. Huddle up for a second. You need someone to go the extra yard when your furnace or AC is out? Give the ball to the certified pros at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. They've been at it for 90 years. Ready? Break.
It's savings on a stick season with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning State Fair specials. Deals on deals on deals. Savings from $30 on a tune-up all the way up to $950 on a new cooling system. Visit standardheating.com/offers for details on all their State Fair deals. Standard Heating, providing the comfort you deserve since 1930.
Half-assed morning show. 93X.
Michael J. for Hope for the Warriors. Started back in 2006 at Camp Lejeune. Military families witnessing the effects of war on their loved ones. Now, almost 20 years later, they've aided over 53,000 service members, veterans, and families with confidential, high-quality behavioral health care services at little or no cost to post-9/11 vets and their families. Over 91% of every dollar donated goes directly to the programs. If you're as concerned about our heroes as I am, go to hopeforthewarriors.org.
Half-assed morning show 93X.
All right, for Cripe's sake, you're a great crowd. Appreciate it. We do appreciate you listening to the 93X Half-assed morning show. We're going back to the fair. We were out there last Friday for a couple hours. Met some great people. Thanks for coming, everybody, if you showed up. You know what I noticed when we were out there on Friday? A lot of our listeners have reproduced.
Yeah, a lot of kiddos.
Shocking.
I got to autograph a kid's Hooters hat. Do you know how big of a dream that is for me?
A Hooters hat?
Yeah.
I'll be damned.
I'm going to say no. I didn't know that was a dream of yours.
I'm glad you were able to fulfill it, though.
I like that you have a low bar. Someday, I want to autograph a kid's Hooters hat.
Hey, man, I got to keep it low. Otherwise, there'd be no victories for me.
And we're going to be back this Friday. So if you have the time and you're in the neighborhood, come on out to our little broadcast booth anytime between 10 and noon this Friday. We'd love to meet you. Now, we're putting together something special for this Friday. Most of you probably forgot about this bit. Ashley,
Yeah.
with her tough attitude over there, a while back, she said, "I'm so cool. I don't even care what tattoos I have on my body. You can put anything. I don't even care."
You did say that, didn't you, Ashley?
Yes, I did.
A reckless show of arrogance, I think, because Josh and I didn't forget about this. So, Ashley, you agreed a few weeks ago, whatever it was, that you'd allow us to temporarily, we're not going to go crazy with a permanent tattoo. Not that you'd care. I don't even care. You allowed us, you agreed to allow us to temporarily tattoo you with anything we want. Temporarily tattoo you with anything we want before a state fair appearance. And here we go. We're heading towards another one on Friday.
Now, you're making a face. Are you still agreeing to this?
Yeah,
and
I'm
we
excited.
We'd originally thought henna, but then, I don't know. A face painter would be easier to get out at the fair. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, that's true. They have those out there
Yeah,
already,
right. That's what I'm saying. So would you be okay if it's face paint? Because we've been trying to find henna. It hasn't been easy to find. So
we've been talking about this, yes. So we had an alternate idea, piggybacking up what Josh was just saying about maybe a face painter would be easier or more convenient than henna. Tell her what we've been thinking, Cubby.
Well, and you said you're willing to do anything. What do you care? Especially if it's not permanent.
Yeah.
Anything.
Oh, especially if it's face paint. Yeah.
Okay. How about being a clown? Now, to recap, Ashley doesn't care what she gets tattooed. Ashley will allow us to do a temporary thing like face paint. Ashley hates clowns, and now we're going to have her be a clown.
Oh, this is brilliant.
You said you would agree. You are going to have full clown makeup.
Dude, okay.
I mean, the truth is, if folks don't remember or haven't been listening for terribly long, there was a time here a couple years ago where we had a clown come in the building and just look at you, and you were in tears.
Yeah.
You are very, very frightened of clowns.
I still feel terrible about that. We had no idea the depth of your fear of these things.
So we are going to make you, literally and figuratively, I guess, face your fear. Friday, we're going to make a few phone calls. By Friday, we'll get someone lined up to come and meet us at the friggin' booth there at 10 a.m., and they will begin transforming you into a clown.
I hope it's a really hot day, so you just have just like running down your face.
Oh, yes, I'm not going to be able to look in the mirror like at all.
We will bring a full-length mirror.
This might actually cure you.
It could.
Think about that.
Well, I was a clown when I was a very young kid, like elementary school, when you still did like the parade in school kind of thing. And my mom said like I was totally fine, so I wasn't afraid of clowns then. Maybe that's what changed me. Maybe I got made fun of at school or something and it messed me up.
But you're scared.
Yeah, because they're absolutely terrifying because they have that stupid smile painted on their stupid face, so you can't tell if they're actually like gonna murder you or not.
Well, you know what? On a daily basis, we're never sure if you're gonna murder someone. So this will be perfect. So finally, we can get an appearance from Rossley Fart Crocks, the radio clown. And people are texting in saying, "Hey, there are henna artists out there. We know, but we wanted to do the clown thing, and that wouldn't work with henna."
We wanted
Yeah, we were talking about off air, and we really think the clown thing is the way to go.
We thought
that's fun.
We were dangling ideas back and forth. Josh had a good one to get a henna tattoo artist to tattoo a beard on your face.
Oh, God.
So you could be a bearded
bushy eyebrows.
And bushy eyebrows. But you know what? So we will... I don't know about the full outfit. I mean, we'll get a hold of somebody who can come out and transform you in. I mean, a real pro to transform you into a clown. Maybe they'll bring you the outfit with the squirting flour and the shoes. We don't know.
Oh, that'd be great.
Oh,
and, you know, if there are any listeners or any professional clowns out there who would like to hang around while this is happening just to add to the terror.
Oh, that's going to be sweet.
Friday from 10 to noon at our friggin' booth.
It's just going to be a bunch of clowns hanging out at
Oh,
the Black
gosh.
Box
I'm gonna
at
be in
Rocks.
It's a bunch of clowns that work there, I can tell you that much.
It all comes full circle.
I mean, that's a lot to ask to put on makeup and an outfit, but maybe some of you are pros. You want to hand out some business cards. I don't know. It might add to the fun if we have some legit clowns out there staring at Ashley while this transformation is underway.
My chest's getting tight thinking about that.
It's like that terrible party I went to in Fargo. Yes, go ahead, Waffle.
If a clown tries to give me a business card, I'm not grabbing it. It's going to shock me or something.
Oh,
That's true.
Yeah.
So Ashley
it'll be
Fart Crocks,
sticky, or you're right, there'll be
Yeah.
something, some trick.
the radio clown, Ashley Fart Crocks, the radio clown, will come to life on Friday at the Stinkin' Fair.
I can't
nice
wait.
One, guys.
Couple
gotta
listeners-
give you props for that. Nice one.
couple listeners suggesting maybe a Green Bay Packer colored clown for you. So you got green and gold all over your face.
She has a limit.
Yeah. I have some type of dignity.
That ought to be something. That ought to be something.
Oh no, someone else is afraid of clowns, and,
Oh, yeah?
and they're not going to come to the fair now. If Ashley's, it's Ashley under there. It's Ashley.
I
under
know what you mean, though.
Yeah,
I
the
get
real
it.
Ashley's scarier than a clown. There's no doubt about that.
I really think that this is going to help you.
I hope so. That'd be awesome. I guess we'll see. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't even like happy clowns. I should make that clear. It's not just like the creepy ones and haunted things. It's like if I go to a parade and they have the clowns riding on the bike, it's near tears.
Maybe I'll take after. If it helps you, I should do this, Nick. I'll dress up as my biggest fear. A teenager.
A teenager!
What would that be? Well, I'd have to have a mustache. That's all the young people have mustaches.
Maybe some Converse or Vans.
Is that
Yeah,
what kids
those are
wear
cool.
nowadays?
Yeah.
Yeah, good question. What are the young people wearing these days? Are the jeans still very undersized? Has that
Oh, it's like
changed at
skinny
all?
jeans?
You wear a pair of joggers. Those are really big right now.
Yeah.
Maybe
Oh,
a
I'm not-
t-shirt
okay,
with
I'm
an
not doing-
emoji on it or something.
I'm not doing joggers. Honestly, I can't do joggers.
He could borrow your white checkered Vans. Those
I
work.
I do have old school checkered Vans.
I bought some for my wife. She's got some Vans. I could borrow those, I guess. Well, she's got small feet.
Listeners are texted in curious about your fear of clowns. So did you ask this question yet, Josh, to Ashley? Ashley, do you even hate Ronald McDonald, who
Yes.
is like the happiest sumbitch on
Are you
planet
serious?
Earth?
But
I absolutely hate him.
But it reminds you of McDonald's.
Nah, dude, that thing is creepy.
One of the one of my greatest pleasures.
You would have wet your pants at a parade I was at a number of years ago in La Crosse, Wisconsin, Oktoberfest. Here came a massive cheeseburger down the road as part of their Oktoberfest parade. It was like a 2-story tall cheeseburger. And everyone's going, well, why is there a 2-story? And then Ronald McDonald popped out the top of the sumbitch.
No.
Sweet. And he says, hey, everybody, how's it going? And he starts throwing coupons at everybody.
Awesome.
No, dude.
I ran up, I hugged him, for God's
That
sake.
would have been so scary.
Hello, La Crosse, Wisconsin, hello! You would have just went, ah!
Why?
Actually, this clown talk made me think of a friend of mine had an experience that I think will give you nightmares just thinking about it.
What?
We were all out at the bar. She met a guy. They hit it off, and they went back together. They went back to his house. The next morning, we're getting brunch, and we're like, hey, so what happened with your dude? She goes, oh, I had to call an Uber in the middle of the night. I go, why? He went into his room, and he came out in full clown costume, makeup and everything.
That really happened?
Yes.
That's insane.
I would have immediately thought he was going to murder me.
Yeah, that's what you should think.
Yeah.
I wonder if this was a bet with his buddies.
It must have been. But yeah.
Don't you think?
She said she just grabbed her purse and just ran right out of there as fast as possible.
Oh, my gosh. I just got the chills, dude. And no, that's so bad.
People are recommending we dress you up like ICP, the Insane Clown Posse, and I liked ICP. Hell, they held the tag belts for a while, didn't they?
Oh, that's
Waffle?
right.
But I think we want to go more traditional with this.
Like the red nose vibe, yeah.
Oh, geez, Jesus, on me dressing up as a teenager, all I have to do is get on TikTok and make a video where I lip sync to a scene of one of today's hip sitcoms. That's all teenagers do.
Oh, maybe we can get Ronald McDonald himself to stop by and get a picture with you while this is happening. I don't know. We got phone calls to make.
That'd be great. That'd be really cool.
Got phone calls to make. Maybe he'll bring some other members of his singing group, whatever they are.
That'd be cool. I like his buddies.
Like if you could bring the Fry guys?
Yeah.
The Hamburger?
I don't want that hamburger stealing burgers at the fair.
We're probably asking too much here. We're asking too much.
Does that make you nervous, Ashley? I mean, it'll be you. Or are you afraid that there's like an evil spirit that's going to take over your body? Or did I just put that in your head, which would be kind of cool?
Put that in my head? What if I like wake up tomorrow or wake up like the next day and I have all the clown makeup on again and like the whole outfit and I can't get over it?
Oh, like you took it all off the night before and then it's on again?
Yeah.
And then you reach for your alarm clock, but you just grab a red nose and hurricane.
don't like that.
You know, I like clowns. I do. I've never
I do
had.
too.
I
Yeah.
think that they're exactly, you know, what I expect them to be. They're happy, jovial people who promote fun. But I will say, I wouldn't call it a fear, but I did have an adversity, maybe is the word, to the circus when I was a little kid, because the very first circus I went to, I mean, I was 4 or something like that. I just gorged myself with all the candy and then I vomited all over about 3 rows of people in the up in the bleachers watching the clown car and the trapeze, and and then for the next 4 or 5 years, when I was a little kid, when my mom would say, "Anyone want to go to the circus?" I'd go, "No, I hate the circus. No." I guess I just assumed that all I got to do. It never entered my mind that it was my own fault. I just thought, oh, I sit in the bleachers at the circus, I vomit all over everybody.
That's just what happens.
Poor little Nick.
Oh, man, it was unbelievable the amount that I pushed out on these poor bastards. Absolutely. We got to take a break. So now you know what our plan is for Friday. We'll try to get it all ironed out.
You're a trooper, Ashley.
Yeah, we'll
10
see how
to
this
noon
goes.
on Friday. Yes, we'll see how it goes. 10 to noon on Friday.
There's going to be like tear marks in the makeup.
Ashley will be transformed into a clown, transformed into Ashley Fart Crocks, the radio clown. And we'll try to get some pros out there. I mean, who knows? We'll see who's available.
Half-assed morning show. 93X.
I got to go to the bathroom. I don't want to talk anymore.
Oh, that sucks. I'm sorry.
I hate that.
We were rapping about the fair. Now, don't forget to swing by the black box that rocks when you're out at the fair any day. We are right near the grandstand across from old Sweet Martha's cookie house. We got new gear. You could register to win an autographed Godsmack guitar. And don't forget today, starting at 4 o'clock.
That's correct.
Somewhere's around there, Corey Taylor from Slipknot and Stone Sour is going to be hanging out with our own Pueblo.
Sweet Pueblo.
Little interview in the black box. People staring into it, pressing their face up against the glass. Is that really Pueblo? They're going to say.
You been in there yet this year?
Huh?
You been in there yet this year?
No, God, no.
You'd probably hate it. The AC is kicking, though. It's
I
so
hate
nice
AC.
in there.
Turn off that AC. All right. Josh, you were saying earlier that last Friday when we were out at the fair for a couple hours meeting wonderful people who have produced many children, you were saying you don't think you had any awkward moments. You didn't say anything that you felt awkward. You didn't do anything.
No, nothing.
Kind of a breakthrough.
Yeah, it doesn't happen too often.
Well, again, I'll say it again. I think you assume you're being awkward when you're not quite often, but
usually what happens is, I enjoy talking to people. I'm definitely an introvert, so I'm not somebody that goes up to someone to start a conversation, but if somebody wants to talk to me, I enjoy it quite a bit.
Sure.
But then maybe I just feel I get a little too comfortable in the conversation. Then I start talking about stuff that I realize I just met this person. They are not interested in, the different fescues in my lawn or whatever I'm talking about.
What was the guy you were talking to on our Infect the River fall boat cruise last year where you branched off into a topic that you felt a little bit silly about? Do you remember this?
Oh, yeah. That was more anxiety than Hair Jesus and his way too hot fiance.
We were busy infecting the river.
Yeah.
Yes.
And this is a young couple. I'm going to guess early 30s, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
And we started talking about property taxes.
Oh,
and
my
I
God.
realized halfway through it, what have I done?
Yeah.
And I think it was my fault.
You turned the subject matter to property taxes.
And so I think part of the punishment was both of us got COVID on that boat that nearly killed us.
Oh, my God.
Maybe we infected each other. First, I infected him with boredom, and then he tried to kill me with COVID.
Now, speaking of, those awkward moments, someone conducted a poll on line skis where they asked about 9 common situations and asked if people found them awkward or not, okay? I don't have many situations where I say, ooh, that was awkward, or, oh, God, I feel, I don't know, maybe I'm oblivious to certain things. But who also, Ashley, I'm just, from my best memory, I think you often think, oh, God, that was awkward. I'm so dumb. I shouldn't have said that. You're kind of that type too, aren't you?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
Any recent examples?
Yeah, I actually just texted John.
Yeah, she texted me about this on Friday because I've got one for Ashley and Wapple. But Ashley, you got to tell your story.
Yeah, one of our coworkers that I've worked with for as long as she's worked here was in the studio on Friday when I came back to do some work.
Sure.
And I said hi to her, and then I went to the other room and I was like, oh shoot, I should introduce myself. How rude of me to not introduce myself. It's like, hey, I'm Ashley, by the way. She's like, I've met you a couple times.
And didn't she hang out in the studio with you guys for like a week straight?
Yup, and then she listed off where I met her at, and I was like, oh my gosh, of course I remembered as soon as she told me, but I was like, I'm a terrible person.
So you more or less informed this woman that she's very forgettable.
Yeah, I was like, okay, great. I'm just a great person. I'm
Wapple,
so sorry.
your awkward moment?
And Wapple has more of a excuse, I think, than Ashley does. Ashley has worked with this person intimately in the building.
Yeah.
Do you remember what I'm talking about, Wapple? It just happened to you Friday at the booth.
No.
There was a guy that came up to Wapple enthusiastically, right? And the two of them were talking, and Wapple's like, hey, it's been so nice to meet you. And the guy's like, actually, remember this?
Oh, yeah.
The guy's like, actually, we've met a couple times. And then Wapple goes, oh, yeah, that's right. And the guy totally knew Wapple was full of crap. He's like, you don't remember it all. And Wapple had to say, no, I'm sorry, I do not.
I love that, Wapple.
But you were so enthusiastic, like, yeah, I remember that very well.
Unbelievable.
I'm so glad I was there for that.
That's why in that situation, you never say it's nice to meet you. You say it's nice to see you.
That's the way to go.
Smart. Yep.
Let me throw these 9 common situations at you and see how you react, okay? These 9 common situations were thrown at your average swinging D or whatever's swinging and ask people if they found them awkward or not. Okay. When a stranger asks you for directions.
You know what? Sometimes I freeze up. I know exactly where they should go, but my brain melts when I'm put on the spot like that.
Okay.
So I've been, and as a matter of fact, one time it was a cop too. He's like, hey, do you know which way this particular car went, right? They were looking for a car. And I said, yeah, it's northbound. And then all of a sudden, he drives away. I'm like, oh, no, southbound.
Easy
I
mistake.
just freeze up. I don't know what it is. Do you guys get that way?
Yeah, oh, definitely.
Not really with directions.
I'm so bad with directions, I just say, I can't help you.
Yeah, I'm bad too.
This is a bit off from this, but speaking of freezing up, have you had this happen? This happens to me sometimes, where someone will say, hey, I work at so-and-so. I'll think, one of my best friends works there. No way. They're like, oh, yeah, what's your friend's name? And then I lock up, and they think I'm full of crap. That's the worst.
I'm a liar. I'm
This
sorry.
guy's a pathological liar.
Why would you lie about something like that?
Why would you lie about knowing someone at Hardee's? But he did.
It's happened like twice.
Making eye contact with someone that you don't know.
I'm good at that.
I like
Doesn't
doing
bother
that.
me.
It's like a power move.
More than half of people say that that's awkward. Some of these I don't understand. I guess I don't get out enough. When you're playing with your phone and random kids watch over your shoulder, 76% of people say that's awkward.
That's never happened to me either.
I haven't had that happen in a while, but it's happened before when there's just kids running around and sitting on your phone. They come over and like look over. Ugh.
When it's your turn to order.
You know, I don't
it's
really.
so awkward.
I don't get that one. But I've got a family member that doesn't like to order for herself.
Yeah, the panic order, too.
Yeah.
All of a sudden they get flustered and they're like, and they order something they would never have eaten.
I used to get flustered, but I think being a woman and usually being with people that have like good manners helps that, because I know that I'm usually going to go first. And so I'm like, okay, I'm ready. But if someone else goes first, everything's thrown off. I'm like, oh no.
My brother judges what I order too, so there is some nerves there now that I think about it.
Rude.
Trying to make conversation with the cab driver.
I could see how that would be.
A lot of folks consider that awkward. I mean,
I've only been in 2.
You say hello, how's it going? And you can tell pretty quickly whether this is going to be an ongoing conversation or it's going to end right there.
Yep. I thought there was something you could click, maybe with Uber.
Yeah, if you pay extra on Uber for like an Uber Premium or whatever they call their elevated ride, you can pick what temperature you want the car to be at, and you can pick whether you feel like chatting or not chatting.
Oh, Jesus, how douchey have we become?
I'd feel pretty douchey clicking the don't talk to me button.
Yeah. Give me a break. What up? No wonder we're such antisocial lunatics these days. Having to put your change in your wallet while people wait in line behind you.
That's the worst.
You're trying to sift that dollar down into your wallet.
I just cram it in a pocket.
Yeah, you guys should see my wallet. My debit card is never in the same location because of that. I'm just like, I put it anywhere.
And I'm also super anal, so I have to face all the bills and put it in a certain order. By the way, I said all the bills, like there's a whole bunch of them.
There's a couple more here. Not all of these really grab me. Standing at the grocery store counter because your partner, who you're shopping with, had to leave because they forgot something. You see what I'm saying?
When your mom used to do that.
Yeah, that would happen with shopping with my mom.
My girlfriend does that to me all the time right now, and I even hated it because my mom did it to me. So it's just added
Well, what do you
frustration.
say? Do you say, so, how's it going?
No, I just stand there and look like an idiot.
Well, why don't you start a conversation? So, grocery store, huh? How do you like it?
It's usually like, yeah, my girlfriend had to go get something. She'll be back soon. And then you kind of rock back and forth on your toes. And just,
Yep.
I see by your name tag that your name is Penelope. Is that a family name? How did your parents come up with?
Do you also consume food?
Yeah. What do you think of this food?
do you like these Tostitos I have?
All right, one more here. Awkward things, according to some. When someone says something and you don't hear what they say, so you ask them to repeat it twice, and you still don't understand them, so you nod and smile, hoping it wasn't a question.
That happened to me on the fair, or at the fair on Friday, and I thought you saw it happen. I asked somebody to repeat themselves like 3 times, and then the third time he did, I was like, I just kind of like looked at you.
That's
I was
the
like,
worst.
Did you hear him?
I hate that too, because you know they're going to punch you in the face. So you get to a certain amount of times where you can't hear them. Iowegian Bank Marketing Jesus said it happened to him talking about his brother-in-law, where he was bragging about his military service and blanked on his brother-in-law's name. They thought I was Mr. Stolen Valor. Why does that happen?
Like friggin' your brother-in-law. I don't know. Maybe it just comes with age. Anxiety, sure.
Yeah, it's got to be anxiety, right?
All of that can come into play.
This person says, can't decide if I should close my eyes or keep them open when the dentist is working on my teeth. Both feel dramatic.
Mm-hmm.
I should just kind of stare towards my feet if I can, or like up at the ceiling.
Well, you know what they did to me recently? They put sunglasses on me.
Yeah, they do that for me too. I think that's probably what they do.
To protect your eyes, obviously, from flying debris. But
I wonder if there's something to that, make it a little less awkward.
Maybe it's just to make you feel more comfortable.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm sure by Friday when we show up at the fair, we will all be completely confident. There'll be no awkwardness at all between ourselves and the listeners who stop by. Yeah, I think we'll be fine.
Happy birthday to Rylan, turning the big 09 today from Bank Examining Jesus and Occupational Therapy Jesus. And a reminder, if you're at the fair today, stop by the 93X booth to see Slipknot's Corey Taylor and 93X Pablo from 93X broadcasting live around 4 p.m.
The 93X half-ass morning show. 93.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show podcast is sponsored by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. New episodes drop each weekday. If your podcast platform has ratings, go ahead and give us 5 stars and maybe give our enemies 1. Thanks, and here's a word from our sponsor.
It's savings on a stick season with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning State Fair specials. Savings from $30 on a tune-up all the way up to $950 on a new cooling system. Visit standardheating.com/offers for details on all their State Fair deals.